It's time for Shawn and Maya in the morning.
Quick pitch to Walter, looking for the record, cuts back, he's got it, he's out of it at 25 to the 26-yard line. Walter Payton becomes the National Football League's all-time leading rusher. Jordan, open, Chicago with the lead. The Chicago Bulls have won their 6th NBA championship. Chicago has won the Stanley Cup. Palmero over the head of Jenks. Uribe charges, throws, out! And the White Sox have won the World Series.
A little bouncer slowly toward Bryant. He will blemish, throw to Rizzo.
It's in time, and the Chicago Cubs win the World Series.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome to Shawn and Maya in the morning on this House Music Monday edition. You see, I got my shirt ready. I'm wearing it, boy. I'm wearing it. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I'm your boy, the Superback Shawn Sierra. Let me tell you, I am fired the freak up. It's Monday. New goals, new weeks. Set them and crush them. Set them and crush them. Set them and crush them. That's how I'm feeling. I'm fired up. Back at CrossFit this morning. Let me tell you what, I am full of energy. I'm going to knock the hell out after the show. Oh, guys, thanks for tuning in. Listen, if you're watching this on Facebook Live, well, then I guess you found us on Facebook. Now, if you're watching this on our YouTube channel, first of all, thank you for subscribing to our YouTube channel. And if you're not, then make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you're watching this on our app, thank you very much for downloading our app. And if you haven't downloaded the app, download the app, damn it. SportsZone Chicago. All right, our YouTube page is SportsZone Chicago. Our app is SportsZone Chicago. So make sure you download the app wherever you get your apps from. Google Play, iTunes, Amazon, wherever you get them from. Make sure you download it. We'd appreciate it. Oh, man, listen. Whoo, Charlie. I am telling you, we have so much to talk about. And Bears didn't even play this weekend, thank God. Whew. And they didn't even play. Lord have mercy. But we have so much going on. Listen. You can also tweet the show. You can tweet us at SM_mornings or at SportsZone Shy. That's CHI. At SportsZone Shy. Now, if you want to follow me, just me, personally online, want to know what I did? Let me tell you what I did. Want to know what I did? Here's what I did. I made it nice and easy for you, folks. Nice and easy. One handle for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, the Snapple. All one handle at the Shawn Sierra. If you want to follow my lovely co-host, Maya Akai, you can follow her on Facebook and Twitter at the Sports Chica. And if you want to follow her on Instagram because you do it just for the gram because you're an IGer, then just follow her at Maya_Akai. It's MAYA_AKAI. I would be remiss if I didn't bring him out. We're gonna bring him out real quick. He's got some stuff to do, but I know he's having a rough morning, so he's like, "Don't bring me out, dude. Don't bring me out." Like, I got you, Papa. Don't even trip. He is the whiz. He is the guy. He is the man behind the curtain, the man who makes this all run smoothly. He's my Puerto Rican Swiss Army knife, Ivan Vargas. What's up, Papa?
That's how I feel. Is what it is. I'm a little under the weather, but I'm here. I'm happy to be here. Thank God for Northwestern, huh?
Woo, Charlie. Number 11. Woo, Northwestern. Yeah. Listen, we got a great show for you, but I need you to get interactive with me today. So here's what you're going to do. If you're watching this on Facebook Live, if you're watching this on YouTube, you're watching this on our app, any one of those places, then you know what? Just leave a question or comment right there on the post. And Ivan will post it on the screen. I want you to get interactive. I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear what you're thinking about the tons and tons of topics that we have to talk about today. Listen, when I said I got a great show for you, I was not bullsiving. You know how we do it. At 9 o'clock, our guy, he'll be on in a few moments. Joseph Phillips is going to sit in for the first hour of the show, our top of the morning segment. Then at 10 o'clock, Kenneth Davis takes the baton from our guy Joseph from 10 to 11. But at 10 o'clock, we also welcome Frank Schwab, the Schwaber, NFL writer for Yahoo Sports. And let me tell you, there's a lot of questions I want to ask Frank about this weekend. First of all, the Bears. The Bears. Who does Frank think, or the national media think, the Bears should go back to at quarterback next Sunday night against the Green Bay Packers, unless that game gets flexed. Actually, it won't get flexed. If the Bears win, they'll still be 6-4. 6-5, excuse me, and they'll be right back smack dab in the thick of the division race. But anyway, but also, what about the Taysom Hill, Jameis Winston debacle? That was crazy, huh? Jameis, how do you feel if you're Jameis Winston? What about Drew Brees? 11 cracked ribs. There's a lot of NFL questions we could talk to Frank Schwab about. So, man, make sure you tune in today, 10 o'clock. Frank Schwab from Yahoo Sports. Then 11 o'clock, the guy, our buddy from the Chicago Crusader, he's going to take the baton as well from Kenneth from 11 to 12 to write out the show. Jason Palmer, because don't forget, he is one half of one half of the my What's Up Cuz tag team. Him and his cousin Lance C. Irvin host that show tonight at 6 o'clock, and we're gonna find out who he has on his show scheduled for tonight. So I'll tell you what, this is. Didn't I tell you we got a great show for you? Didn't I tell you we got a great show? Was I bull jiving or what? I'm telling you. Listen, let's get smacked that. Right on time. And now it's always there when you call, but I'm always on time. So you know how we do the first segment of every show. It's called Top of the Morning to you. And these are the hot topics of the night before or just some sports in general. And boy, oh boy, do we have some doozies. And the Top of the Morning segment is powered by the Chicago Crusader newspaper. And with that, we bring in our guy. He's their guy. He's our guy. He's your guy. Man, he's G'd up, boy. I like it. You can find him on Twitter at ACA Joe. Let's bring him on, our boy. Joseph Phillips. Joseph, what's up, Papa?
What's up, Papa? God bless.
How you doing?
Happy Thanksgiving week.
Yeah. Shouty. What your name is?
Ready to get some neck bones from Mickey Niels? No, I'm just joking.
How was the weekend, buddy?
It was blessed, brother. Blessed,
yeah?
Man. Yeah, man. I
know you did something with Lil Man. What'd you do with Lil Man?
Oh, man. We was just hanging out, went downtown a little bit. You know, we went on a hunt for the PS5. We got a few tips from a couple of department stores on when we can make our move, you know. And we was actually thinking about buying a turtle this week, but we decided to wait on that. Yeah, you know, we need a family pet, man. So we was thinking about a fish.
Turtle.
Turtle was like $200, man. I was like, what?
How much?
200. Well, I was at Petco. The turtle was like $2 something. I don't know if they was charging me for the tank, the food, and his brother. But I was like, I'm not paying $260 for no turtle. And my son was like, "Oh, look at the little turtle." He was like, "Yes, he's nice." And the guinea pigs too. They were cute.
Oh, dude, that's good stuff, man. That's great stuff. Good. Glad little man had some fun this weekend. That's good stuff. Well, listen, let's get right to it, dog. Let's get right to it. Top of the morning. The first top of the morning topic is the Chicago Bears have a bye week. How comfortable or how relaxed, should I say, were you this weekend knowing that the Bears were not going to play?
And no news is good news, brother. So that's what they say in media. You know, like if it ain't bad news, I'm great. You know, my whole thing is we didn't have to deal with that this week. You can tell how much of an emotional effect that the Bears have on the city. The Bulls almost blew it because they drafted a unnamed guy. So it kind of took us almost 2 steps back. But once we really did the tape and the research, it kind of brought our emotions back up a little bit. So now, you know, we have to continue to fight against the Bears throughout the year so that we won't go into a depression.
So you didn't like the Patrick Williams pick?
No. I love the pick. What I'm saying is that most people were shocked, you know, even though Casey Johnson broke the news 2 weeks prior. But most people were shocked with the pick. What I'm saying is that our initial emotional reaction when he said Patrick Williams, because most people were looking to the Bulls for that emotional boost because the Bears have been so bad. So some Bulls fans are on the edge. They're like, okay, did you reach or did you make the right pick? you didn't want to leave any doubt in Bulls fans' mind. But the Bears, what I'm saying is that because they had a week off, emotionally, Chicago fans was able to reset. And now, we have to deal with this again next week. But the beautiful thing out of all of this, Green Bay did lose yesterday. So,
oh yeah, honey, there it is.
Celebration,
in itself.
So I'm happy.
Yeah, well, you know what it was. You're right. Good, no news is good news. A little bit of news on the Bears front. Javon Wims is activated. He's back on the active roster. And I hope it's a lesson learned. And I hope he comes out, he plays well. I hope they utilize him. Hope Bill Lazor is a lot smarter in the utilization of these players than Matt Nagy has been. And we'll see. He's got 2 weeks, so he's going to have some chance to implement some of his own plays. He's going to have a chance to get rid of some of the plays of Nagy that he doesn't like, kind of circle the ones that he does like and work on those. So a perfect time, 2 weeks off as you prepare for a Green Bay game Sunday night under the lights, prime time.
After a loss too.
Oh, Green Bay's going to be, they're going to be on one. They're going to be on one. So they don't want to lose, because if we what are they, three have 3 losses now, Green Bay. So if we beat them, they'll have 4. We'll be 6-5. They'll be 7-4. So we're smack dab in the middle of that race again, and we got to play them at the end of the year too. So, there's still a good chance for us. So despite this, goes to show you how great our defense has been, despite the fact that we played like we've lost 4 in a row. If we win Sunday, we're literally smack dab in the middle of the hunt for the NFC North.
I see you, Vernon.
Hey, don't be so sure. Don't be so sure. But with that, here's a big moment for Matt Nagy. Okay. And I know the offensive line sucks, and that's going to be a huge issue, but your boys got to play for you. Your boys got to step up for you this week. All right. On Sunday night, they have to step up for you. And you're going to find out this week how much they care. You're going to find out how influential this coach is. Because, there's people who are talking and they'll say it publicly, oh, they support Nagy, they support him, blah, 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 blah. But now's when you really got to dig deep. Defense, you can't be dropping picks. Offense, you have to get consistent. You got to get moving. Offensive line, you got to block your ass off like you've never blocked your ass off before in your life, because you're not very good, and we need the best game out of you. This is a pivotal game. This is a pivotal game. So we're going to see what his players can do. We're going to see if they step up for him this week, because if they do, then there's a very slim chance. But if they don't, it's over and done with.
And as they say in real life, it takes 30 days to break a habit. So for Bill Lazor, it's going to take. Hopefully, it can take 2 weeks to break a habit, because he picked up a lot of bad habits from Matt Nagy. I think last week he was pretty conservative with the play calling, because I guess he didn't want to show up his boss. Because his boss would probably look at him like, you've been holding out on me. So that's kind of an intimidating thing to do, to show your boss up a little bit, And if he starts doing well, then that's going to put the spotlight on Matt Nagy and put his job on the line, because that means that at the end of the day, he's the guy responsible for holding the team back. But I hope Lazor can get away from the whole Matt Nagy playbook. Like he can just get away from the whole series of calls that he's made, because a lot of that last week look a lot like Matt Nagy's playbook. It was the same calls. So hopefully,
it's going to be tough. I mean, it'll be tough, Joe, just because of the fact that you can't implement. Bill Lazor can't implement his system in the middle of the year. Like that all takes place in OTAs. That takes it in mini camps and all these non-voluntary, involuntary workouts. Non-mandatory workout, what I mean? That's when all that install gets put in. So you have a chance to put in 1 or 2 packages of Bill Lazor's plays, but his whole offense isn't going in. So what you're just going to have to do, you're just going to have to deal with a couple of different packages from Lazor, and deal with the rest of the season, Matt Nagy's plays. But Bill Lazor gets to choose those plays now. Bill Lazor gets to say, okay, you know what? I don't like these packages. I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like this. I like this. I like this. I like this. And depending on how he calls game, if you remember last week, he was able to he pushed the tempo a little bit, and that did well. That worked for the Bears. Yeah. So you get some plays that you're comfortable with, that the players are comfortable with, and then you up the tempo. There's a good chance. And then if he does well, Joe, I'll tell you what, I'll be happy. It's going to do one of two things. One of those, if the offense starts scoring points, then they're going to start winning. That's bottom line. That defense. So it'll do two things. One, it'll say, yes, Matt Nagy, you were the problem the entire time. Okay. But two, you're a head coach and you're winning. Your job security is still there.
Right.
Because the bottom line is you're the head coach. You need to win. Right.
And to me, when I'm watching the Bears play, it looked like Matt Nagy only got like 3 plays that do like 5 different things. You see what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to take a shot at Matt Nagy, but I'm just like,
sure.
It's too predictable, man. You know how I was growing up, Shawn, playing Tecmo Bowl. You have those 4 plays going across the screen. Either you were going to go deep, you're going to run the ball, or you're going to do a little quarterback sneak. Something's going to happen. Or punt, kick. You see what I mean? So that's how I'm looking at Matt Nagy playbook right now. It looked like we have the same plays. And last week, that's what I saw. And hopefully Bill Lazor can mix it up a little bit. Let's try not to throw what's that play called when they're in the backfield and they throw the ball to the receiver and
screen
yards. That's a screen play that never works. Let's just get rid of that play. Like, throw that play out of the playbook.
It's called a jet sweep, and it's the worst freaking play in the Chicago Bears arsenal.
No, he's talking about when they throw it out to the receiver.
Oh, that's still worse too.
The jet sweep, is that the one when the wide receiver catches the ball in the backfield and then tries to run?
No, they're talking about like a bubble screen. Screen, yeah.
Get rid of that play, please, because that never works. It never works.
You know something, Joseph? Back when I was in college, back then, we ran the bubble screen often. It was the beginning of the run and shoot. That's the offense that we had, was the run and shoot in college, and so it was 4 wides, and we ran that way back in the day. That same bubble screen that they're using now, we ran way back. It was successful back then because there wasn't a lot of tape on it, and depending on the matchups. But now it's not as successful. It has to be done in a timely manner. When you just got to catch them. You got to catch them, because if you're in twins or spread, and the slot receiver, the guy who's covering the slot receiver is deep, he's playing off, then you can get away with it. Why? Because he can go out, he can block the guy on the outside receiver. The outside receiver can come in, get that screen, and then he's got time between the guy who is covering the slot and him. There's a lot of time and space. Move on. If they're playing press coverage, then that's a tough call because both defenders are up. So
can you audible out of that play?
Yeah, of course. You should be able to. You should be able to.
I need you to school me on this football stuff, man, because I'm just like, the Bears are taking me back 30, 40 years I was born with this old school football stuff. Like, I need to see some new school plays, man. I'm tired of the Wildcat. I'm tired of the T formation. I don't want to see that anymore. They gotta hire you, man. They gotta hire you, bro. You and I, OCDC.
You are a fool. Hey, well, let's keep it moving. The next top of the morning topic: the Northwestern Wildcats.
The kitties.
The Northwestern Wildcats with a huge 17-7 victory over the Wisconsin Badgers in Evanston this weekend. It has catapulted Northwestern to number 11 in the polls. 11. They haven't been number 11. They haven't been that high in about a quarter century. 24 years it's been since they've been that high in the polls. And you know what? I'm telling you, I love Fitz. I love his team. I love the way they play for him. there's a lot to like, and not to mention the brand new facility, which is now the best in all of college football, overlooking literally right on Lake Michigan. Come on, man. Come on, man.
Beautiful. And I haven't seen Northwestern like competing at a high level like this, not since the Darnell Autry days. You remember those days, you know?
Like Pat Fitzgerald.
Pat Fitzgerald, throwback, you know, the coach, or the future Bears coach, hopefully. But at the end of the day, man, I saw Northwestern laying a boom on Wisconsin's running backs, and then also their QBs. I saw them force a couple of fumbles, putting themselves in good position early on in the game, and they ended up coming out with the victory.
They created 5 turnovers, Northwestern did. And don't forget Graham. Oh goodness, his name just left me. Their quarterback, Graham, guy who just had COVID, just got off of COVID, but he was they forced him into a couple of picks, 3 picks, I think it was, 2 fumbles.
Mm-hmm.
This team is a real deal. This team is a real deal. And if you remember, I don't know if you saw the game, but after the game, Pat Fitzgerald, they asked him, and he's like, "Oh, we have a whole bunch of Reese Davises," and he was taking a shot at Joey Galloway from the pregame, or from they were talking about it prior earlier in the week, and he was saying that, you know, Northwestern's got a whole bunch of Reese Davises, like not really athletic guys, like really smart guys, but not really athletic. Yeah. So Fitz used that as bulletin board material, and you know, the boys came out and they played very well, yeah. and Fitz, you know, he heard the slight, and so he kind of threw it back at Joey Galloway. He's like, you know what, just keep talking. We heard you loud and clear.
Right.
And you know what, the fact of the matter is they got it done. You know, they're 5-0 in the Big Ten. They're atop the Big Ten West. And I'll tell you what, this is a team that's fun. They're exciting. And the Chicago's Big Ten team.
Right. And I wanted to point out that you saw Ohio State struggle yesterday on Saturday with Indiana. They got out to a lead, but then they let them crawl all the way back.
But Indiana's a different breed, dude. Indiana's a different breed. They ain't your average run over anymore. They're legit.
No, right. But what I'm saying is that Indiana has the defense for Indiana and Northwestern. They're both tough, so you're going to get the similar matchup. You know what I'm saying? Come whenever they play. I think that's in the championship game, right? That's when they would face off if they get there.
Yeah,
Ohio State and Northwestern. So I think Joey knows that this team is for real, and I think he's a little scared. Like who's? I mean, come on now, a bunch of Reese Davises. Let's be real. That's insulting to the entire football program. Like, don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, you know, you mentioned Ivan. You mentioned Indiana. Tom Allen, their head coach. He's no joke, dude. This dude. If you saw, I don't know if you saw the post game when they lost, because they lost by a touchdown. Mm-hmm. They were down 21 points twice, and they came back and they almost got it. But they lost by a touchdown. And Tom Allen is in the locker room, and he's pissed. He's pissed. He's like, we didn't play our game. He goes, we're not going to cry about it. He goes, we're not victims. He said, but we didn't play our best football. He goes, you guys play. He goes, you didn't quit. He goes, I love it. He goes, but it wasn't good enough. He goes, I don't like the results of this game. Dude, this guy, I felt fired up. Dude, this guy is going to turn Indiana football around. And it's been a long, long time. Not since Antoine Randall L. has anyone given a damn. Has anyone actually given a damn about Indiana football? And this guy, Tom Allen, is going to rejuvenate this program. Just watch.
Yeah, IU will be a force to be reckoned with. Like I said, first of all, shout out to the Big Ten, man. We starting to build a lot of competitive teams up and down this lineup, formidable competitive teams.
Mm-hmm.
That compete with the best of them in college football. And then, like you said, Indiana, they haven't competed in a while. You know, it's been a long time. Not since Antoine Randall L., who was a one-man wrecking crew.
Yep.
He could do it all. Quarterback, play a little wide receiver. And he can also hoop, too. So
yep.
He's that bad, you know. So
that's a bad man. That's a bad man.
I love me and them, too. You know, they won the game also. So shout out to them also.
Yeah, so, but that's you're right. The Big Ten is really doing it, man. It's a great it's good to see Big Ten football back. And now I mean you got the top heavies, although Penn State's really sucking this year, but you got your Ohio States. Damn, I can't even say Penn State. Your Wisconsin's are usually good, but they fell to Northwestern. But there's more depth this year.
Yeah.
Not in so many of the same powerhouses. There's new teams.
Right.
Newer teams who are starting to play well and strengthen the whole conference, which I'm thankful for.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing, growing up here in Chicago, Big Ten football was king. You saw it. Big Ten and Notre Dame football were basically all that they showed, in the area, regionally. And you just love watching Illinois. You watch Michigan. You watch Ohio State. You watch, Michigan State, Iowa. These are a lot of the proud teams of the Big Ten, and some of them are having good years, and some of the smaller schools like the Indianas, and the Northwesterns, they're having really, really good years.
And it's their time, like I said, no one fears Jim Harbaugh and the Michigan Wolverines anymore. All that hype that came with him, he's coming in, taking over.
He's a Michigan man, taking over Michigan.
It was a nice narrative, but if you don't have the personnel to execute it, it's just a myth, So most teams don't fear that myth anymore. And like you said, like Ivan said, Ohio State struggled yesterday, So the Big Ten is up for grabs, as far as taking. And Northwestern right now, hey, they can make a name for themselves this year.
Yeah, they can. And I'll tell you what, their quarterback Peyton Ramsey, is that dude. He's that dude. I thought Hunter Johnson, the kid from Clemson, he was the number one high school quarterback in the country coming out a couple of years ago. He leaves Clemson, Northwestern gets him, and I'm like, wow, like this dude's gonna do it. But in talking to who was it? Oh, one of our college guys, Matt Brown.
Right.
Talking to Matt Brown, he's like, yeah, I don't know about Hunter Johnson. He said Peyton Ramsey is gonna starter. I was like, what? And Peyton Ramsey has been phenomenal this year for the Northwestern Wildcats. So they're loving life right now. They're on top of the world. They're at number 11. It's the highest that they've been in 24 years. That's a pretty good deal. Well, listen, let's just take a quick break. And on the other side of the break, we'll come back. We have more top of the morning topics. So don't go anywhere, folks. Back right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago.
BoomerNaturals.com presents the Sports Flash on 1330 and 95.9 The Zone. No major free agent moves made by the Bulls heading into the new season. Training camp starts in just about 2 weeks. New VP of basketball operations, Arturas Karnisovas and GM Mark Eversley have mostly been quiet. Clearly the biggest move so far, drafting former Florida State Seminoles freshman forward Patrick Williams 4th overall in the draft. They also added undrafted free agent Devin Dotson, a former Kansas Jayhawks point guard. Shooting guard Denzel Valentine and guard Adam Makoka have been given offers. The team did let Chris Dunn and Shaquille Harrison walk away in free agency. The Bears had the bye week, but perhaps a little bit of help. The Green Bay Packers, the team ahead of them in the NFC North, upended in overtime, 34-31, the final against the Colts. Boomer Naturals, your source for 3-layer protective face masks. Breathable protection for adults and kids. Save 20% with promo code SPORTS at BoomerNaturals.com. Chuck Sanders, that's the Sports Flash, 1330 95.9 The Zone.
Shop incredible Macy's Black Friday specials right now while supplies last and get the holidays' hottest deals before they're gone. Like cozy sweaters, just $39.99. Refresh the bedrooms in your home with 65% off Charter Club Damask and Damask Designs sheets and bedding. Then cozy up with matching pajama sets for the family. Only $19.99 and under. Right now at Macy's. Plus, buy online and get contact-free curbside pickup or pickup in store today. Details at Macys.com/pickup. Savings off sale and clearance prices. Exclusions apply.
Want to hear something amazing? Discover matches all the cash back you earn on your credit card at the end of your first year, automatically, dollar for dollar, with no limit on how much you can earn. Extra cash? Come on, how amazing is that? In fact, it's even more amazing when you realize all the places where Discover is accepted. 99% of places in the U.S. that take credit cards. So when it comes to Discover, get used to hearing yes more often. Learn more at discover.com/yes. 2020 Nielsen Report. Limitations apply.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago and it's House Music Monday edition. See, I'm rocking my House Music shirt. You see it, Papa? You see it? Yeah. So,
got your hat too. I see you got your dope boy hat.
Yes, yes. My paperboy hat. You got it.
Yes, sir.
Did you play? Did you play that video game, Paperboy?
Oh man, my brother growing up. I know I got a story for everything, but my brother growing up had a paper route, man. That video game used to remind me of his paper route. You remember those paper routes? You had to get up like 5 a.m.
Yep.
If you get paid like $1 an hour, you know, you're like, yeah, boy, give my $5.
I got $5.
I'll give $5. Cole making that dollar, you know.
Oh, dude, that's funny. That's good stuff. Yeah, I had a paper route for the Southtown Economist.
Okay.
Southtown Economist. Yeah.
Okay, cool, man.
Yep. And they were delivered. It was once a week, so we had to deliver them every Thursday. But yeah, I had a paper route. It's supposed to be, you know, me doing my paper route, but it ended up being mom's driving me around. The paper route.
Hey, but a paper route was a good way to learn the city, you know, like the communities and stuff in the city, you know.
Yeah, you're right. It taught you hard work. It taught you getting up early. It taught you responsibility, you know, because we had to pick up the papers on Wednesday, and then you know we had to fold them. We had to fold them a certain way with they gave us a bag of rubber bands, and you know,
Yeah, that reminds me of, and not to get off, so that reminds me of working at the Hyde Park Herald. I used to have to like file like every issue, you know, once the papers came in, and that was kind of a fun task, you know, archiving, what they call it, archiving.
Archive, yeah.
So that was really cool.
Nice. Well, let's get back to this. Next top of the morning topic: the Bulls. They signed Denzel Valentine, their backup point guard, to a 1-year, $4.7 million deal, I believe. That was a free game. They came in at 10, and I delivered the Wall Street Journal.
Yeah.
Jay Reinsdorf was one of my customers. That's Jason. He's going to be on later tonight.
He's on the building.
Yes, he is, baby. Yes, he is. He'll be on at 11 o'clock with us to close out the show. That's classic. But the Bulls signed Denzel Valentine, their backup point guard. And I'm more than okay with this. I'm more than okay with this. I just think that it's a great signing. I love what he does with that second unit, and I think he's a guy who can really help the bench mop and get things running. His basketball IQ is through the roof. And man, I am more than okay with this. Your thoughts?
Oh, I think this is a perfect opportunity for him to pretty much just prove his doubters wrong, because last year with Jim Boylan, he pretty much, I wouldn't say he blackballed him, but he pretty much froze him out of the season, and we watched it for no unnecessary reason. Then in addition to that, I think it's a blessing in disguise because of Billy Donovan likes to run a three-guard offense, and if we can add, say for example, we can put Denzel as a ball handler, we make Kobe White a ball handler, and Zach LaVine a ball handler. That's an opportunity to do that. All three of them are skilled at scoring the ball and creating a shot off the dribble. So maybe it can come in that form, or we can make a trade through free agency and add that third guard. But either way it goes, Denzel should be able to shine this year, because I think he's one of our most skilled players on our team.
You know, Joseph, I think you are absolutely right when you first said he was blackballed by that dude. He was blackballed by that man, and that's not fair. That wasn't fair to him. That wasn't fair to the rest of the team that was struggling. It wasn't fair to us as fans. He blackballed Denzel Valentine when Denzel Valentine could have helped that team succeed, and that was to me. Jim Boylan's never should be a head coach in the NBA again. Period.
Yeah, I knew we were in trouble when he was like, he told the media, he was like, hey, we got Shaq, we got Kobe. I was like, right. You know, like, come on, bro. Shaq and Kobe is now coming through that door. You talking about Shaquille Harrison and Kobe White. That's not happening. And you see where Shaq is now. They got rid of him. As soon as they heard that Jim Boylan quote, they was like, nah, man, don't play games with us like that, man. He was delusional grandeur, bro. For real. You thinking that Shaquille Harrison was better than Denzel Valentine, you got another thing coming.
No, Denzel Valentine was, I mean, he's, again, first of all, he's solid, but his basketball IQ, you come from a Tom Izzo program, you stay there 4 years, you come out, you're a smart basketball player. Right? You're a smart basketball player. You don't do dumb stuff to hurt your team, to hurt yourself, shoot yourself in the foot. And I like this because the next top of the morning topic is the Bulls staying with the Bulls. They agreed to a 1-year, $5 million contract with backup point guard Garrett Temple. So now we have a couple of situations here where we can have a 3-guard rotation. Okay, because he could be up with Kobe White and Zach LaVine. It could be, Denzel Valentine up with him and Zach LaVine. Garrett Temple, Denzel Valentine, and Kobe White could be running the second unit. So there's, we have guards. I'm not a big fan of Archie Diacono, but he might stay. So I mean, he's functional, I guess.
That's Kirk Heinrichs 2.0, brother.
Yeah, for real.
He's hard hustle. He's hard hustle and no muscle, as they say. It's not good enough to try, man. You gotta do your job, brother.
Yeah, I hear you. So, but they have guards, and that's what I like. The fact that they have guards, the fact that you're being coached by 2 great point guards, in Billy the Kid and in Maurice Cheeks, who just added to his coaching staff last week. This guard play, and if you ever notice how a lot of people don't understand how important guard play is, if you don't understand how important it is, go take a look at the NCAA tournament.
Right.
Okay. How many times do we see teams, mid-majors, small schools, upset a Power 5? One of the blue bloods, a Kentucky, a Kansas, because and they have all those blue chippers, but they don't have any guards.
Right.
They don't have guys to run the offense. They don't have the guys to slow it down. They don't have the guys to speed it up. They don't have guys to settle that team down. And in those other schools, those mid-majors, those are the schools that you're staying 4 years. So you're getting the freshmen, 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, top freshmen in the country, but they're not. There's no structure there, right. and you're going up against guys, juniors and seniors, and guys who've been in the tournament before and who know how to run a team. It's almost not even fair.
Right, and it's always good to have a guard that can set you up for the offense to get you a bucket. And like I said, the guards. One thing I learned as a former point guard. Point guards are like the quarterbacks of the team. Like we're like the embodiment of the coach. The coach may
you're the coach on the floor, literally.
Do this. The point guard has to implement that on the floor. And if you don't have a guy that's intelligent enough to matriculate that into an actual game, then your team is going to suffer. And I thought Chris Dunn was going to play that role. But he kind of lost his identity and his confidence, even though he was a great defender, but he kind of lost his identity and confidence. And then last year with Zach LaVine and Kobe White. Zach LaVine, he likes to dribble the ball, but I think he can play well off the ball if we have a solid point guard that can set him up for success.
I'm really liking the way this is playing out. I think I'm liking the basketball IQ of those guards is going to increase. It's going to go up. And so a lot of the mistakes that Zach LaVine made last year aren't going to be there. They're going to be dealt with, and they're going to be, and I don't mean that in a negative way, but they're going to be coached out of them, with Billy Donovan, with Mo Cheeks. Dude, I'm looking forward to it. I'm really, really looking forward to how these guys play. And here's another thing. When it goes down to the end of the game, and you're going to see how calm, cool, and collected some of these guys are, the better decisions that are made late in games, that's exactly what you need. You need good good decision making, good guard play at the end of games. So now you're going to be coached by two great former point guards.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really liking the direction that this is going.
Yeah, and like you said earlier in one of the shows last week, the Bulls are focusing on player development right now. My whole thing is now we actually have a player development department.
Yes, we do.
Time to work out with you so you can enhance your skills every year. One thing I miss about Derrick Rose, and not to get off the subject, but one thing I noticed about Derrick Rose, every year he used to post his workouts during the summer on how he improved and how he got better. And I used to watch him every year. One year he'll work on a mid-range jumper. The next year he'll work on a three-point shot. The other year, the following year, he'll work on getting through screens and pick and roll situations. So those are the type of things that player development is going to help you with without you hiring a personal trainer. And one of the ideas I threw out there early in the season, hey, let's go get one of these trainers, these guys that train the top guys in the league and bring them into the organization and put them in our player development department and let them work with our guys individually so that they can get top-notch training. And I'm not taking a shot at any other trainer, but I think if you can hire one of those guys that train like a not James Harden, but like a Giannis, you see what I mean? Somebody who can train a Giannis, somebody who trains a Steph Curry, someone who trains those type of individuals and bring them into your organization, I think that would be a plus.
Yeah, the only thing about that is being a speed trainer myself, I get like they make more money. They can make more money with the players than with the organization will give you a set amount. But with if you're good and say you do train Giannis and in LA, but and other guys seeing like, hey, who's your trainer? Who do you work out with? That
Right.
word that gets spread around is like, okay, well, we'll train with you, and there's more. I think his cap is a lot higher. His ceiling is a lot higher than if he's just with an organization. Just my own personal thing, being speed training kids myself, so I just have a little insight on on why a lot of guys would not work for organization, just kind of stay independent and do their own thing, throughout the off season, during the season, just kind of help these guys maintain. Yeah, because you can charge them for all that. You can charge them for all that.
Yeah, and I totally understand. Like I said, I was just thinking from a progressive perspective, just bringing someone in that may be willing to take on a organization position where you are getting a fixed income. Not saying that you're not getting that with working with individuals, because you probably get quadruple that amount. But at the end of the day, it wouldn't hurt to try. I'd love to bring in someone who is looking for an opportunity to do something like that.
Okay, I hear you. Well, the next top of the morning topic, man, how about this? Number one overall draft pick himself, Joe Burrow, tore his ACL yesterday in the game, and it's crazy. This kid could have had. I don't even think arguably. I think this kid had the best college football season ever. I think they beat LSU. They went on to win the national championship when he was there. I think he beat 5 top 10 teams. When they played him at the time. The Bengals ended up losing to the Washington football team yesterday, but it was sad. Joe Burrow was having a good year, and even before it was really funny is he knew it, and so before the word got out, he had tweeted out. He said, "Thanks for all the love. Can't get rid of me that easy. See you next year." So he knew he was out. He knew he tore his ACL, but to let your fans know, hey, I'm good. We'll see you next year. I think it's cool, because I really think that I think this guy is a real deal. I think he's going to have Cincinnati making some noise in a couple of years.
Oh, wow. That's very unfortunate for Joe Burrow, who's a national champion with the LSU Tigers. And in his rookie season, as he was progressing so well, injury like this will take place. I believe he's going to return full strength. He's a very confident guy. And Godspeed, brother. I hope you get well soon.
Yeah. He's such a positive kid, dude. You know, he's such a positive person. You know, you root for people like that. You always root for people like that. The kid just seems like a great kid. You know, hats off to his parents, you know, for doing a wonderful job raising him. Like, he's not, braggadocious, outlandish. He's confident, but you know, he's not one of those pain in the butts that you just don't like to see from young, from players. So, yeah, it's a sad state of affairs, but he'll come back stronger. He'll be ready to go next year, and I can't wait. I'm looking forward to him coming back and having another good season like he was having this year. So it's just unfortunate for people like that, good people like that. But you know, it's part of the game. It's the nature of the beast. And I'm not crying for him too much. I forgot how much. You know, you're the number 1 overall pick. You got a nice little signing bonus there, Papa. You're good. You're good.
Yes, and he's the type of guy. Yeah, he gonna make his money, but he really loves to play football. So, you know, that's unfortunate, especially for a Bengals franchise. You know. Yeah,
they've been snake bitten, man. That franchise, they've been snake bitten. You know, so, you know, our thoughts and prayers head out to Joe Burrows after he tore his ACL and out for the rest of the season. The next top of the morning topic. Did you see, Joseph? Did you see that Las Vegas Raiders and Kansas City Chief game last night?
Oh wow,
Charlie!
Football, baby, old school AFC football.
Dude, was it me there, or were there a lot of pads popping? A lot of pads are popping.
Oh,
those two teams played.
What a game! They look like they had a personal vendetta from back in the '60s, man. They
AFC
football. Man. You know, I loved it every moment of it, including that last big play by Pat Mahomes to close out the game.
Yep. It looked. The only problem, it looked good for Vegas. Derek Carr giving the Raiders a 31-28 lead with a 1-yard touchdown pass to Jason Witten. Remember the guy who used to be in the booth, but Jason Witten. But there's a minute 43 left. Like, you can't give Patrick Mahomes a minute 43, dude. Right. And it doesn't even matter if he has any timeouts left. You just don't give him a minute 43 and have it be touchdown wins.
Right.
You know, it's this kid is phenomenal. He finished 34 for 45, 348 yards, 2 tutties and a pick. His first pick of the season, I believe. No, his second pick of the season.
Hey, Shawn, real quick, can I grab my charger to plug the Mac in? I'm on 100%. I'm gonna run real quick and come back.
I got you. No, so you know, watching that game yesterday, that Sunday night game yesterday was fun to say the least, and you just knew that when he scored and you saw those 1:43 left, you're like, yeah, I don't see them holding on.
I was yelling like, hey, run the ball. I was like, run the clock out. Like, under a minute is still too much. Like, I would have liked to see the Raiders leave them with 40 seconds on the clock, maybe.
That's what they had to do. That's literally what they had to do. They had to take a whole minute plus off, because you see what happens. You just can't give him time. I mean, and they were just see, the crazy part is you like, what do you do with Tyreek Hill? Mm-hmm. Like, you play up on him and have help over the top if he goes by you. But now you got 2 guys guarding one, and that helps other people for you know, are you in man? Are you in zone? What do you do with those guys? Because then you got the Sammy Watkins, you got the Hardeman, you know, the Travis Kelce's, you know, Le'Veon Bell. We had the Le'Veon Bell sighting yesterday. He looked good yesterday. So this team is just stacked, man. This team is just stacked with talent, and I man, I was hoping the Raiders would beat him.
Yeah.
Just to kind of bring him back down to earth, but couldn't do it.
You know what? The Raiders have the team to beat them. I was telling Luke yesterday on the Basement Monsters podcast. I was like, they can keep pace with that team, which is crazy, and they have enough. I feel like they have enough speed on that backside of the defense to keep up with their burners. You know, like Pat Mahomes, there was no giant big play. It wasn't last year's Chiefs. You know what I'm saying? And then even in their first game, the Chiefs struggled even more, and they gave up 40 points. They almost gave up 40 points again.
You know, Derek Carr looked really, really good yesterday. Derek Carr, except for the one picture on the sideline where he's like looking like this, like he looks demonic. But you know, he finished the game 275 yards, 3 tutties. The Raiders led a couple of times in the game, but man, you just can't give Patrick Mahomes just under 2 minutes and expect him not to go up and down the field and score. You just can't.
And by his dad being a baseball player, you could tell that last throw that he made in the end zone was like, you know how he makes those no-look throws? It was very similar to like those no-look throws across your body, and he hit the target, you know, right in his hands. Boom. And then that last play by Derek Carr, I think if he would have held on to the ball for like one more second, the receiver would have got open, and he probably could have put a little bit more on it for a Hail Mary play, and they probably would have scored on that possession. But hey, he gave it a try, and he fell short.
Okay, yeah, but it was a great game. It was a great game, like you said, old school AFC. Yeah, that's the picture. He looks demonic, doesn't he?
He looked like the Omen.
Yeah. Like that. That's
what if he was just like normal, just chilling? Like what if he was just like thinking about something like rainbows and puppies or something like that?
And they just happened to catch him right there. They just caught him. You know. Well, but he looks that way. He looks crazy. He looks crazy. He looks like he could be crazy.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, he looks crazy, John Gruden.
Well, you know what? That's crazy. You know, John Gruden, he's doing wonders with that team, man.
Yeah.
He's doing wonders with that team. They're 6-4. They're second behind it. I mean, had they won yesterday, they'd be 7-3, and Kansas City would have been 8-2. So, I mean, they were close to, you know, that John Gruden team. Yeah, that Las Vegas Raiders team is the one you don't want to mess with.
Yeah.
So
it's so weird seeing the Raiders in Vegas.
Yeah, because I had this. You heard me. I'm like the Las Vegas Raiders. Because I was about to say the LA Raiders.
You know, I thought you was gonna say the Las Vegas Outlaws. I was like, oh yeah, that sounds like that sounds more like it. Yeah.
That's great. Well, listen. Next time, the morning topic, we're going to talk a little NBA free agency. Oh my God. Woo, Charlie. ESPN reports that Celtic forward Jason Tatum and Utah Jazz guard Donovan Mitchell agreed to hit identical 5-year terms that could be worth $195 million. Spider Mitchell. The deal included 30% escalator clauses from the Sun-Times Wire. 30% escalator clause that could turn their guaranteed $163 million into their base into $195 million should they be voted to one of 3 All-Star NBA, one of the 3 All-NBA teams. Sources said. Jason Tatum is 22. He averaged 23.4 points and 7 boards a game. Mitchell is 24. He averaged 24, 4 and 4. Wow.
$200 million man. That's what I'm gonna call him, like the $6 million man, the $200 million man. They're gonna be wealthy for a long time coming, brother. That's all. I covered Jason Tatum when he was in high school, actually.
Oh yeah,
but, yeah. I don't know if you ever been to the Chicago Elite Classic. It happens like every year at the UIC Pavilion, and what they invite ESPN Top 100. And one thing I noticed about Jason Tatum, he was playing like a pro in high school, you know. So,
really?
Yeah, I mean, his jumper was smooth as butter. And he was projected to be a top pick in the NBA coming out of St. Louis. And now he's making almost $200 million as a basketball player. So that's amazing.
That is phenomenal. Phenomenal. Cool. Well, listen. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it, man. Appreciate you sitting in as always, man. Every time you come on, every show, it's good stuff, bro. It's good stuff. What anything big planned for this weekend besides Thanksgiving? Obviously, what are you doing for Thanksgiving?
Oh yeah, we're just gonna do like a Zoom Thanksgiving with the family on Thursday. You know, everybody's gonna report live for like media. Everybody's reporting live from their Thanksgiving table, eating turkey. You know, but we're gonna do like a Zoom Thanksgiving family gathering. You know.
Yeah, so we usually go to South Elgin, to my cousin's house, but her husband got COVID, and it was really bad, and I'm not sure he'll be cleared in time. But it's just, and don't get me wrong, I love going out to her house. It's nice, but it's in South Elgin, and when you're going from Orland Park to South Elgin, dude, that's an hour and 15-minute trip, hour and 20-minute trip. It's like,
yeah, you might have to spend the night over there, brother.
Oh, we do. No, we do. We don't come home that night. We spend the night. We spent the night the last few years. We go over there but I still got to drive back in the morning. You know, it's still a long trip. You know, on Black Friday. So, yeah. So, but yeah, so we're not doing much, man. What we're gonna do, I called yesterday, ordered some stuff from Jewel, so they're gonna cook it for us. Turkey dressing, stuffing, depending what you say, mashed potatoes, biscuits. So, yum. I think it was $39 or $49, something like that. But you know what? We go pick it up Wednesday. It's they put it's turkey breast. So it's not even the whole turkey; it's just turkey breast, which is fine. And so throw it in the oven, the conventional oven for 2 hour, an hour and a half, 2 hours, something like that. Yeah, and we'll be good to go. So yeah, we did that here because we're not going to be able to get to family. So,
well, hey, brother, we doing steak for Thanksgiving. So I fell in love with that steak last week. I was like, man, we got to do this again. So,
hey, great, cool. Hey, great stuff, Papa. We will see you on Wednesday. All right.
God bless you guys. Enjoy.
All right, now. Hey, guys, listen, we got to take a quick break. And then on the other side of the break, we're going to bring in our guy who's taking the baton over in the second leg, Kenneth Davis. And then we're going to welcome Frank Schwab, the Schwaba from Yahoo Sports. So we have I have a lot of questions, man. I know Kenneth does too. We're going to talk a lot. We're going to talk Bears first, but then we're going to talk overall NFL since we got Frank, the Schwaba for us. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago.
BoomerNaturals.com presents the Sports Flash on 1330 and 95.9 The Zone. No major free agent moves made by the Bulls heading into the new season. Training camp starts in just about 2 weeks. New VP of Basketball Operations, Arturas Karnisovas, and GM Mark Eversley have mostly been quiet. Clearly the biggest move so far, drafting former Florida State Seminoles freshman forward Patrick Williams 4th overall in the draft. They also added undrafted free agent Devin Dotson, a former Kansas Jayhawks point guard. Shooting guard Denzel Valentine and guard Adam Makoka have been given offers. The team did let Chris Dunn and Shaquille Harrison walk away in free agency. The Bears had the bye week, but perhaps a little bit of help. The Green Bay Packers, the team ahead of them in the NFC North, upended in overtime, 34-31, the final against the Colts. Boomer Naturals, your source for 3-layer protective face masks. Breathable protection for adults and kids. Save 20% with promo code SPORTS at BoomerNaturals.com. Chuck Sanders, that's the Sports Flash, 1330 95.9 The Zone.
Shop incredible Macy's Black Friday specials right now while supplies last and get the holidays' hottest deals before they're gone. Like cozy sweaters, just $39.99. Refresh the bedrooms in your home with 65% off Charter Club Damask and Damask Designs sheets and bedding. Then cozy up with matching pajama sets for the family, only $19.99 and under. Right now at Macy's. Plus, buy online and get contact-free curbside pickup or pickup in store today. Details at Macys.com/pickup. Savings off sale and clearance prices. Exclusions apply.
Want to hear something amazing? Discover matches all the cash back you earn on your credit card at the end of your first year, automatically, dollar for dollar, with no limit on how much you can earn. Extra cash? Come on, how amazing is that? In fact, it's even more amazing when you realize all the places where Discover is accepted. 99% of places in the U.S. that take credit cards. So when it comes to Discover, get used to hearing yes more often. Learn more at discover.com/yes. 2020 Nielsen Report limitations apply.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago. And it's House Music Monday edition. You see me, I'm rocking my house music shirt on. Man, I had a good weekend. I'm listening to some good old house music this weekend. And you know, every Monday here on Shawn and Maya is House Music Monday. Well, let's bring out my guy who's just taking a baton. He's going to sit with me for the next hour. He's from That Davis Show. You can find him on Twitter at That's Davis. Guys, bring him on, my guy, Kenneth Davis. Kenneth, what's up, Papa? How are you?
I was fine until you just put that Taysom Hill nonsense in the like, Shuddy ran for 2. Like, stop. Like, listen, it was a little bit better than what I expected as far as the Saints game, but still, it's just like I love the fact that Steve Young, if you low-key watch, Steve Young is like, don't compare him to me. Because to Steve Young,
I'm an athlete.
he'll be like, put him in. If he's that good, then put him in. And what Steve Young is telling you is don't compare that boy to me. And as Steve Young should. You should not compare Taysom Hill by any means to the great Steve Young. I'm a big Steve Young guy. So
no, I love Steve Young, dude.
I come for any Steve Young slant. Steve Young is, to me, he's the person that got the actual. He was a player that made the running quarterback in our generation work. We know Fred Tarkenton was like the dude, but we had Randall Cunningham. But Steve Young was the one to win and doing it. So, you know, he's always looking out for running quarterbacks. But if you pay attention when you mention him and Taysom Hill, he's like basically like prove it. So Taysom Hill did a little bit of proving yesterday, but he didn't do it through the air, Shawn. He did it the same old Taysom way on power runs with your quarterback. But that's enough Taysom Hill discussion.
Well, we're gonna bring out our next guest, and we're gonna ask him some questions. First, we're gonna talk Bears, but then we're gonna talk about the Saints and the Taysom Hill over to Jameis Winston. That's a big question mark. Wow. So we're gonna bring him on. He's a good friend of the program. He's been on here plenty of times. He writes for Yahoo Sports. You can find him on Twitter at Yahoo Schwab. Guys, let's bring him on. Our friend Frank Schwab. Frank, what's up, buddy? How are you?
What's going on? What's good, guys?
Hey, Frank.
Hey, my Bears did not lose last week.
They didn't. And the rest of us around the country didn't have to watch that awful offense for 30 hours. I'll tell you that. That was a bye week for all of us.
Right.
Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? Well, let's talk about the Bears. So now they've had a year. They've had a week off. Okay. Bill Lazor's their new quarterback. Fire the Lasers. So Bill Lazor's the guy making the calls, but he's still using Matt Nagy's plays. Do you think what's the likelihood of him being able to implement 1 or 2 packages of his own plays, and them, since they had 2 weeks off or 2 weeks to prepare, that they can use some of Bill Lazor's plays? Because let's be honest, for the rest of the year, it's going to be the plays Matt Nagy has, and then whichever one Bill Lazor likes.
Yeah, it's very true. You can't just install a whole new offense, even over a bye week. I mean, there's just not enough time. There's just not enough. And, Bill Lazor has been a good coordinator. I mean, I think about, he did some things with the Bengals. He is a pretty well-respected offensive mind, but to make this change midseason, you're kind of stuck. You're not. I think even Bill Lazor might have taken over in midseason with the Bengals at one point. Like it's hard. You're not installing your whole offense. Like you said, maybe get a package here, package there, but you're still kind of, it's just the same. It's the same offense, and it's the same personnel too. It's just you're not gonna have some magic fix. Matt Nagy it was interesting that he gave up the play calling, and I get it, but it didn't look any better. And it's just not some you're not going to go from a struggling offense to a one that's scoring 35 points a game just because you change coordinators midseason. And if anything, it might hurt you because it's just a tough transition because basically, like you kind of alluded to, you have a coordinator who's not really calling his own offense. He's calling someone else's offense, which isn't exactly the easiest thing to do.
Yeah, that's the truth. So, well, some of the things I liked the up-tempo style that he had, and that helped a little bit. But, talk to me about this offensive line. And, as a national writer, you see that. What, is your first thing to do is laugh when you see our offensive line?
It's down among the bottom. And, Kyle Long retires. Like, you just lose a guy like that. You can't replace him. And there's only so many holes you can fill in one off season. And especially on the offensive line, it is so tough to land those guys. I remember doing the rankings of before free agency started of the top 10 offensive linemen available in free agency. I had a tough time getting to 10. I was at like 7 or 8. Like, this guy's not even really an NFL starter. They're just, those guys are never available. It's tough to draft them. It's tough to develop them because they come out of college. We've all talked about this a lot. You come out of college and a lot of this really kind of simplistic offenses these teams are running. They don't really get coached in how to, be in an NFL offensive line, an NFL protection system. So you're stuck with, if you lose a lineman, look at the Ravens even. The Ravens lose Ronnie Stanley, and they look like a different team. It's tough to just say, oh, we lost a lineman, no big deal. The Cowboys the same way. I think the Bears are in that where they're going to have to at some point make a significant investment in that position, but it's going to take time, and it's hard to find those guys.
Yeah, it is, guys. We're joined by Frank Schwab from Yahoo Sports talking Bears and a little NFL action right here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago.
Hey, Frank, listen, I know it's terrible because the offense is bad, but I want to get back to the Bill Lazor point because, like Shawn mentioned, I did see the rhythm pick up. And even though he can't implement plays is to say that aren't in his playbook, still he would seem like that he's familiar with it since they come from the same systems. Did you see any rhythm compared to in the past with Matt Nagy? It seemed disconjointed,
Yeah, and that is one thing he can control. I mean, he can control. Hey, let's play a little higher tempo, and that gets a defense on its heels. And I like the up tempo. It's not just everybody thinks it's just trying to wear a defense out, which it does, but you make a defense simple that way. When a defense doesn't have time to communicate, they don't have time to. They're just worried about lining up. Like, hey, they're getting to the line. They're doing no huddle. They're calling a play. We need to get lined up in the right spot. That makes you very basic. You are just running your basic zones, basic man. You're not doing the exotic blitz stuff. And that helped to get them on their heels a little bit, helps an offense for sure. So I think that was one change that they can make to kind of transform their offense a little bit, give them a little bit of an edge that they don't have. I agree. I think that they did. There was a little more rhythm, and if it can help you in any way on that offense, kind of kickstarted a little bit. You got to do it. You got to try it. You got to do something to get going. And like you said, it is the one thing. Like, they may not, the plays are the plays, whatever, but you control. Hey, we're going to run up tempo. We're going to get defense on its heels a little bit. So I did like that change.
And as Bears fans, like, one thing that I've felt, and I want you to tell me if I'm right or if I'm wrong, is that this is actually good what's taking place because, yeah, they were 5-1, but we all knew they were going to get their asses kicked in the first round. And this kind of leaves no cover. Like when I always say when I come on this show, on my own show, that when you see nationally the Bears are on ESPN about how bad they are, it's really good because then it puts the onus on ownership not to just let the status quo be, or like Mike Thomas said, the standard is the standard. The standard is low. The standard is really low. So is it good that this is happening? And it may cost Matt Nagy his job. I think we're fans of let's clean the house. We love the defense, but is it good that this is taking place because they don't have perhaps 500 or a game or two above 500 to say that they're actually a good team?
I get what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, it's to the point of if Matt goes 9-7 and they get in as a 7 seed and get destroyed by the Saints or somebody in the first round, like, would that be better? Because then everybody comes back. It's really rare for a team to go to the playoffs and clean house, and maybe they do need to clean house. The whole Matt Nagy thing is really fascinating to me because 2018, we all knew Vic Fangio had a great year, but I still thought Matt Nagy was a good coach. I'm
with you.
I knew, like, but now it's like he needs to ship that Coach of the Year trophy over to Denver. That's the guy who was driving that bus. It's just the shine is completely off, and I don't know what the Bears do. I mean, it's hard because all of a sudden you are thinking like, 2 years ago we won a division. This guy won Coach of the Year as a rookie. Are we really dumping him right away? Is it just that he doesn't have a quarterback? He doesn't have a number 2 receiver. He doesn't have a running back, really. I don't think David Montgomery's the guy. The offensive line, all these things you can make excuses for. But, at the end of the day, I don't know what they do. They're in a tough spot because they are going to be in that, 7-8 win range. They're going 7-9, 8-8. You can talk yourself into another year of Matt. I don't know. It's just the Bears are kind of stuck in no man's land right now. It's not a great place to be. It's almost better in some ways. Just be the Jets. You're going to get Trevor. Hey, you can start over. You can have some hope. Whereas the Bears are going to be picking, the 14th in the draft and trying to take some offensive tackle who fans are going to shrug their shoulders about. It helps them as a football team. But so I get what you're saying that maybe sneaking into the playoffs was not going to be the best thing for the Bears this year. But I don't know what is the best thing for the Bears because they're really in a tough spot right now of not wanting to be impatient, but you don't want to be too patient with the wrong guy. I don't know what the Bears should do. It's a really, really interesting offseason they have coming up.
Real quick, Shawn, you brought up something, and I agree with you. There's a debate that we kind of have here about David Montgomery. And my thing has been, I know he's tough as nails, and he will stick his face out there, but I don't see vision. And I know the offensive line is terrible. But you do see, for instance, when Cordero Patterson's in there and then Lamar Miller last week, that even if they get 5 yards, they're not getting stopped in the backfield as much as David Montgomery. And to me, sometimes, and maybe it's just my eye being naive, I put that on David Montgomery because sometimes I feel like he doesn't hit the hole. And it's not that he dances, but he's hesitant at times. So am I wrong, or is David Montgomery really the guy in the offensive line just sucks?
No, I mean, the offensive line does not help him by any means, but I just don't see the juice out of him. And I think that, all the talk about him coming out of Iowa State where, he was not really the fastest guy, and you don't see the burst. You don't see the explosion through the hole, like you said. And sometimes, even if he's not hesitating, he's just not a guy who's going to just make something happen and just accelerate through the hole. He's not that guy. He was, he's good at college at a lot of things. We just haven't seen that show up in the NFL. It's a different game. It's a different speed. I think you're really seeing him struggle, and I think the Bears are going to have to. I mean, Montgomery might end up being a good backup, 8 to 10 carry guy, but I don't think he's a guy who can carry load in the passing game or in the running game, and it's just one more thing to add to the Bears off-season list. Like, I mean, it's just at some point you're going into the draft like we need to fill these 9 holes. Well, you only got like 6 picks, 7 picks. What can you do? So
I mean, nine spots on offense to fill.
Yeah, right. Like it's a tough spot for the Bears to be in. There are a lot of holes to fill, but they got good enough that, especially on defense, where you can talk yourself into, well, maybe we're not that far off. We don't need to tear this down. So it's interesting. But yeah, I just don't right now. Yeah, the offensive line doesn't help him, but I don't think Montgomery's the guy for that.
Yeah, I like him, but I mean, we really haven't had a true sense to see what he can do because of the fact that he's been, the majority of the time he gets the ball, he's been getting hit or he's avoiding tackles in the backfield. And, let me see him, because I can't get a true assessment of it. Let me see him, get to the second level. Just to the second level. I'm not even asking to the third level. let him and a linebacker once in a while. You know what I mean? And that's what we haven't seen because his offensive line is patchwork. So he may be better than we think. He may be worse than we think. I can't get a really good assessment of him just because, he's in the duress literally every time he gets the ball, and it's frustrating as a former running back to watch because I'm like, give him a hole, give him somewhere to go. And we just don't see it. Let's switch a little to the national scene, guys. We're joined by Frank Schwab from Yahoo Sports, talking a little NFL and Bears action right here on Shawn and Maya SportsZone Chicago. I was telling Kenneth, and this is I mentioned this in the top of the morning segment. Like, why did New Orleans start Taysom Hill over Jameis? Because if I'm Jameis, I'm like, whoa, hold on, player. I'm giving him a side eye. Like I know you're a Wildcat quarterback and everything, but I'm like a quarterback.
But wait, Shawn. Real quick, Shawn. But Taysom Hill has been there for 3 seasons. Just got sucked. Because when everyone said that, my thought was, if I was his agent, I'm going to Sean Payton like, hold up. Teddy Bridgewater is one thing, being there 2 years, but you signed my guy to be a quarterback. So I think he had to go to Taysom Hill because they signed him, because you're basically lying about Taysom Hill's future if you did not put him in and you put Jameis, who just came there this offseason. I'll let Frank answer the question, but that was my thinking on the whole Taysom Hill being the starting quarterback situation.
It was interesting, but Peyton has always loved this guy. I mean, we've heard this for years and years and years that Peyton was just he takes Drew Brees, who might be one of the top 5 quarterbacks of all time. He takes Drew Brees off the field 5 times a game to run something for Taysom. So I think this was his way of saying, all right, let's just do it. I want to see what this kid can do in a full-time. And I was surprised. I thought Taysom was going to struggle. I picked the Falcons to win yesterday. I thought that they were really not going to be the same team without Brees. And you saw, there were some mistakes. He almost threw a pick right at the end zone. And he's just not a polished quarterback by any means. But he does bring something to the table. It's just different. It's a different offense. You saw him run a couple. I think he ran for 2 touchdowns. He ran for a really, really nice one from about the 15-yard line on in. He's something different. I don't want to compare him to Lamar. He's not Lamar by any means, but it's just a different offense. It's completely we're going to have to change the way we play to fit this guy's skill set. And I think Peyton's comfortable with that. I think he almost relishes being the genius, right? He wants to say, yeah, I could run with Jameis, run the same offense, and we're going to have our ups and downs with Jameis. But I'm just going to wipe the whiteboard clean, and we're going to run a totally different deal with Taysom, and look how smart I am. I think there's part of that in play. All coaches have ego. Sean Payton definitely has an ego, and I think he wants to put this guy out there and win with this guy and say, it's not just Drew Brees. I can win with a totally different style quarterback than Brees or Teddy or whoever. And yesterday was good. Now, their defense was unbelievable yesterday. We saw that's the thing. When Teddy came in last year and he went 5-0, he did play well, but the defense really stepped it up at that point. The defense was driving the Saints in that winning streak. Not to take anything away from Teddy, but we saw the same thing yesterday where it's almost like the defense says, all right, Drew ain't there. We need to pick up our game. And they did. Yes, they were nasty yesterday against the Falcons. That's the Saints defense we're going to see there, right back in the mix for a Super Bowl again.
So that's my next question. How long can this last? Because now it's come to find out that Drew Brees has 11 cracked ribs. I was like,
11, Shawn, 11. That is I've never heard of that.
Did he get jumped after the game?
Right? It was
he get initiated into a gang for 3 minutes.
I've never heard of a guy with 11 cracked ribs.
3-minute initiation into a gang. How do you do that on one play? What the hell is that? So he's going to be out for a minute. Needless to say. Yeah. So is this going to catch up to, because you do a lot of things with Taysom Hill and he's very limited. So can the Saints continue to win? But you got film on him now. You got film from last year, you got film from this year, but also this is the same guy you're going to see for the next couple of weeks, and that's why I mentioned the Jameis thing, because you could still do the same thing. Bring Taysom Hill for a series, okay, maybe add him a little more, not have him start, but bring him in for a series and add it. But how do you think the Saints are going to handle this, knowing that Drew Brees is going to be out for a few weeks?
Yeah, and they just got to hope Drew's back by playoff time, because I don't think they're winning the Super Bowl without him. That's just not going to happen. I'd be shocked if it does. But I think that they can be – the problem for them is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, really, because they can't cruise. If Aaron Rodgers got hurt, let's say. Sorry, guys, but nobody in the NFC North is challenging them. They won that division already. It's over. The Saints need to keep winning just to keep ahead of the Buccaneers. So you're looking at a case of the Saints might have to just kind of assume that they're not going to win all these games. And they're not doing the 5-0 Teddy thing again, I don't think. I think teams are going to catch up to Taysom. They're going to have some tough games. And maybe you just concede and say, well, home field advantage doesn't matter this year anyway. We're pretty much locked into a wild card. We kind of know the 7 NFC playoff teams right now. We're gonna win as many as we can. We're gonna play our game. We're probably not gonna beat Tampa Bay, but we can make a run if Drew comes back. If we're gonna win enough games to get in, and then go on the road as a wild card. I don't know, but I think that they're, like I said, I think our problem is Tampa Bay. I don't think they can keep pace with Tampa Bay with Taysom as a quarterback. Teams are going to adjust. The Saints are going to have tough days on offense. It almost reminds it. Taysom does. I hate to even invoke his name, but Taysom does remind me a little bit of Tebow. Where they won games last year or that year. I mean, they did. They moved the ball, but there were games where you're like, and especially I'm based out here in Denver, where it's like you're watching those games with Tebow, and it's like this is the ugliest football I've ever seen. There will be days like that, I think, with Taysom, and it's just kind of unavoidable when teams catch up to him.
Wait, because you say it's funny. You say you were out in Denver, and I was watching that game because I secretly root for Vic Fangio to get fired so he can return to me. But
Return to us.
Yes. But this is the thing. The problem that I have watching that game. One, and listen, he won a Super Bowl. I'm talking about John Elway the Great, but it's kind of time for him to go. And when does the rubber meet the road? Because he never really wants to pick a quarterback. Now he's got Drew Lock. He's on him. But still, to me, it seems like that organization could do so much better. And also, I want to expand this to a larger subject outside of just John Elway. Because one of the things I was thinking about, Frank, yesterday, being a Bears fan, and you're right, they need to go out and get an offensive lineman. But they're kind of in a funny situation when you look at this. Probably like what, 5 quarterbacks that people are looking at, maybe going between the first and the second. You could throw Mac Jones in there. You know, the kid from Florida. There's other people out there outside of like Trey Lance and stuff. But there are a lot of teams that kind of quote unquote have their quarterback. Now, for instance, like the NFC East. The only thing you really kind of have to worry about drafting a quarterback, as far as what they're saying up front, is Washington. You know what I'm saying? Because Dak is supposed to be back, quote unquote. That's what Jerry says he's going to sign Dak. If they continue to keep Danny Dimes with the Giants and Carson Wentz, and even with Carson Wentz, Jalen Hurts is behind him. They're not going to another quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Look at a team like the Chargers, who have a phenomenal. Listen, I did not know he was going to be this in the pros coming out.
Herbert?
Yes,
yeah.
Herbert. But
he got to let his hair go back. He got to let his hair go back. That's for starters.
But maybe that's the problem. But what I'm trying to get to is that the teams with the low records, some of them already have quarterbacks. So could this be a year where you have guys they're going 5 or 6 deep as far as quarterbacks that people desire? Could this be the year where the Bears kind of get a break because so many teams have quarterbacks, they may be able to move up and give another first round pick to try to finally solve that situation?
No,
but John Elway first. John Elway first, please.
Elway, it's a weird situation with him out here because he's a legend. I mean, he's the franchise. Like, there's very few teams where one guy is the franchise, like Breeze in New Orleans. Like, even Chicago, it's like, well, they had, the 85 team, or they had Walter, or they had Dale Sayers or Buckets. John Elway is the entire franchise here. And he did bring him a Super Bowl, and he put together a very, very good team that won despite Peyton Manning being on his last legs. But this team is not going anywhere. It's not doing anything. And Elway, it's weird to see him getting heat because he's so beloved out here that the fans are kind of fed up. And they're stuck in it. Like, to circle this back to what you were just talking about, unless you're drafting in the top 10, you're really kind of just swinging big on quarterback and trying to hit a home run. You're not always going to hit that Dak Prescott lottery. You try, I get it, but when you're drafting Paxton Lynch 25th, when you're drafting Drew Lock in the second round, you're hoping to catch something, but you're probably not. If you look, majority of the quarterbacks who are good in the NFL came from the top 10. Like this year, we see Burrow, and I think Tua's going to be fine, and Herbert's great. I agree with you there. But this year, you're right. There are a lot of quarterbacks coming in, and most teams do have a guy. Like, they're not just stuck with desperation. Like, they got a guy they've either talked themselves into, or a guy already established, or whatever. So when you're looking at all of a sudden you're talking about, okay, Fields and Trevor going 1-2 probably, or top 3, whatever. But you still got guys beyond that. The BYU kid everybody seems to love, Trey Lance, kid from Florida, like you said. Now you're all of a sudden talking about like 5 guys. Not everybody in that top 10 needs somebody. But now to move up, let's say the Bears are 14th in the draft. To move up from 14 to 1 is, you're giving up years and years of first round picks. But what about moving up from 14 to 8 if you love Trey Lance, if he's there at 8 or 9? You're talking about maybe another pick. That makes sense. Now all of a sudden you're making an investment at the position, and there's not a whole lot of teams that are going to be competing with you. Denver is one of them, maybe to go up and get that guy. But even Denver might talk to Drew Lock. Plays well the last 6 weeks. They're going to talk themselves into, hey, we had these injuries and opt-outs on the line and all that kind of stuff. So I think the Bears are actually in a good position if they want it, if they love a guy, to get aggressive, move up, and take the kid from BYU or whoever you really fall in love with in the draft process, and then start over that way. But usually in the NFL, you need to make an investment at quarterback. It's just not going to fall in your lap very often. So you look at Dwayne Haskins. I mean, hey, look, I like Dwayne Haskins coming out of college, but if you're the Redskins at the time, Washington now, Haskins falls in your lap at 16, you draft him, it looks great, but then you realize there's a reason he was there at 16. There's a reason everybody was passing on him. So to make it, if the Bears want to make that investment, or Broncos or whoever, this might be the year, because there's a lot of good quarterbacks in the first round, and probably a lot of teams in that top 10 are saying, we got our guy. The Chargers, we got our guy. Let's move back and take a couple extra first round picks.
Well, Frank, man, I'd love to have you on for an hour or 2 hours anyway, man, because it's great stuff. And, and the last thing is, like, even whoever they take, it's not going to matter, because he's not going to have time. You're going to put it's going to be similar to what Mitch had his first year, where when they put him in with Fox after 4 games, and he was just running for his life. He was just trying to catch up.
Look at Burrow.
The game.
I mean, we saw it yesterday. Burrow gets hit in the pocket because they got no offensive line whatsoever, because they had to draft Joe Burrow. Hey, what can you do? You gotta. There's not many offensive linemen out there.
Yeah, so that's going to be the interesting thing on how they navigate that, because right now the only guys that they drafted are the highest guys that they drafted on the O-line are number 2 picks in Cody Whitehair and James Daniel.
Right.
Like you need 1 or 2 first round picks on that offensive line. You can give me a couple of second rounders, maybe a third rounder, or maybe one guy, but the highest round pick on your offensive line can't be second round. Just can't be, because there's no way in hell. So we have a lot of issues, and I'm really concerned about our defense. Just going to waste. It's just going to hell. And, we wasted another Super Bowl defense trying to get this thing right on the offense. So it's frustrating over here in the Shy, man. It really, really.
I hear you guys, man. I hear y'all.
Hey, but Frank, thanks a lot, buddy. Great stuff as always. Do me a favor, let everyone know where they can find you and your work online.
Yeah, no doubt. Just go to yahoo.com/NFL, at Yahoo Schwab on Twitter. Always around, always writing, just kind of enjoying the season, man. It's been a fun one.
Yep. It has been. We still got some games left. So, hey, we'll be in touch soon, buddy. Thanks a lot. I appreciate your time.
Sounds good, guys. Have a great week.
All righty. Guys, that was Frank Schwab from Yahoo Sports just talking. I mean, dude, what the hell did the Bears do, bro?
I'm going to tell you.
I like the quarterback idea that you talked about.
You got to get Trey Lance. Listen, I feel you, Shawn. You're going to have to get that tackle in the second round this year, buddy.
Yeah.
I mean, because, okay, this is the thing. You got the tackle is from Oregon. Is the number 1 tackle, I believe, coming out is a kid from Oregon, right? He's not even playing this year. He opted out. He's going number 1. I think the kid's like just 19 too. Like he's ridiculously young, on top of being a physical asset. But there's some good tackles in this draft. And I'm with you. I'm totally built from the trenches type of guy. But he's gonna be gone. If you like Trey Lance, if you like him and you think he's the guy. You know what I'm saying? Then, yeah, if you can move up, if we're 14, you can move up to 10, basically. You know what I'm saying? Because they're also there may also be the jury may not be out on Trey Lance. It's just what Frank was saying. You got the BYU kid. You got the kid down there in Florida. You got a few guys out there. Listen, Mac Jones has put himself into discussion now. He was a guy that people was looking at. Maybe he'll be a 3rd or 4th rounder. He's easily sliding himself into the second round right now. He's in the Heisman discussion. So, and I'm a Roll Tide guy. I'm not a Mac Jones guy. But I like having more guys to throw in there so I can get my guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And also, I don't know where it's going to come from. You're going to have to cut somebody. That's why we were talking to Lester Whitfall last week. I asked about Robert Quinn, that you're going to have to get somebody out of here to go get an offensive lineman. That's just the truth of the matter, because you can't repair it all through the draft anyway. So you got the draft alignment, and I mean more than one, but we're talking about the first 3 rounds where you should be able to get quality. You got the draft alignment or 2 in the draft in the first couple of rounds or first few rounds, and you definitely have to go and pay somebody to come in here and correct this situation. But if there's a chance, because there's the quarterback depth is so deep this year, you have to jump in because you don't have your quarterback. The question of do you have your quarterback is dead, all right? And also, I'll let you know how bad it's gotten. I'm sorry. Yeah. How bad it's gotten. Because I try to look at things. I look at something like somebody's wife as far as how am I going to manipulate this situation to get what I want, even if I have to put up with something I don't want to put up with, right? So now I'm to the point where I'm like, you know what? Give me Harbaugh. Because I know that Michael loved him, but maybe George loves his ass too, right? Like, bring his ass in. Yeah, he failed in Michigan. He's still a decent pro. But because I need somebody on this offense, but also I'm like, they're not giving me the place. So I'm like, okay, if you bring in Harbaugh, they love him enough to probably not listen to Pace. But again, part of the problem is I don't know if I can trust Harbaugh. I'm still trying to be in the way. I'm trying to manipulate the situation to get the outcome that I need as far as something has to change. So that's like, I'm just sitting here. Yes, dude, I'm sitting here. I watched college this weekend. I enjoyed that Northwestern-Wisconsin game.
Man, that was,
I made my son listen. We had a nice conversation here on Shawn and Maya's show about a month ago on Northwestern and our affinity for it being in our backyard. We should all support it. So my son watched the game with me, and I'm telling him, like, dude, this is in Evanston, you know, even though Ivan is repping the residents. We sit there as far as the traffic concerns. But I'm just telling him, and listen, I thought about you two watching that Northwestern game, and I'll get back to the Bears. I was like, man, if I was a booster, why can't I just get a running back? The fact that they're running game, I was like, goodness, can you just pay some kid to come up here?
What did I say? Hey, Ivan, what did I say last week? I said, listen, you're going to have to go, you know, let's 1 or 2 or 3 kids a year that wouldn't normally qualify academically.
Right.
But, man, you know what they can do on that field. You just 2 or 3 a year. 2 or 3 years.
Special tutoring.
We saw it in the program. We know how it's done. We know how it's done. You know what I'm saying? Get a couple of those guys. Get a pass rusher, get a stud running back, get a stud wide receiver, or get a stud outside linebacker. Stud one, but just get 3. Just 3 a year. So you're not inundating the purity of the Northwestern.
You're not messing with the team GPA all up.
Right. But you got some dogs. And you know what? You gotta, you know, kind of, hey, you know what? We need you to work this weight room thing from midnight to 5. You don't really have to be there, but you can work what you're doing there. You know, you gotta start doing what you gotta do, man. And because I think they're so close. I think they're so close to becoming a perennial power, especially in the weaker West, Big Ten West. Yeah. They are, man. They could literally fight for that Big Ten championship year. I mean, basically every year.
Hey, Ken, I wanted to ask you about, because of this, we talked earlier about the slight that Joey Galloway threw to Coach Fitz in the Wildcats. He pretty much called the Wildcats the Reese Davises. And you know, you got the comeback from Coach Fitz, and he pretty much repeated it, but you know, as a slight back. I think Ohio State, watching it, and Shawn's point was Ohio State was or Indiana is a different Indiana, and Ohio State struggled against a good Indiana football team, a good Indiana defense. Northwestern has a really good defense. I think that they will cause the same type of problems that Indiana gave Ohio State. That you know, if they match up in the championship game, I think like part of me feels like Joey knows that team looks really good, and that they're going to have to see them later on.
I'll say this much, because the problem with the Indiana-Ohio State games, the game was over, and then Ohio State just let Indiana back in the damn game, which was crazy. And part of me wonders, does COVID have something to do with that, as far as these teams in the Big Ten and how late they started? But I agree with your point, because like the Indiana quarterback, like I watched that kid and I'd be like, I'm watching them like, this is not going to translate to the pros. I actually like Northwestern's quarterback better, even though I know probably Indiana's quarterback has better wheels, you know what I'm saying? But I actually like Northwestern's quarterback better. And this is getting back on the Northwestern thing. So watching that game, and I was like, again, I'm putting myself in this situation like, man, if I was a celebrity and I was a booster, how can I help this team? You know what they really have to do? They have to, and again, we mentioned this in our last Northwestern discussion, that you have teams like Stanford that are out there that when you are a team, when you're a student that also, an athlete rather, that also has a fantastic academic mindset, you're probably going to go to a more glitzy school. But if they can get roots in Florida and Texas, where you can get the kids that are the 5-star kids as far as academics, you know what I'm saying, the honor students, you know what I'm saying? Because I was trying to tell my son, I was like, you know, the problem with this school, they're not going to get anybody with gold fronts to be able to come up and inform, you know, but see, there are kids down there who have great resumes when it comes to their GPA and so on and so forth. But you have to start building roots and being like, you know what? you know, you come up here and you're going to play in this cold. You're going to be able to play anywhere when you go to the pros. You're going to be used to it. We're selling Evanston. We're selling Chicago.
We're selling that brand new facility that they got.
Exactly, which looks terrific. Selling that, we'll have at least 5 to 6 plane tickets so you can get home throughout the year. You know what I'm saying? There's a couple for moms to come up here a little bit, and we're going to put her up in out of the cold. You got to worry about mom be out here freezing with the rest of us. But it's just like, because they're like what Shawn is, they're on the cusp. You know what I'm saying? Like if Northwestern could just become cool for a period.
Yeah.
You know, they missed that during the Gary Barnett era where one, there wasn't the internet really. You know what I'm saying? So you couldn't really become a real national story, even though Northwestern's a national story because we always find out who the damn alum is. I didn't know before 96, 95, 96 that Charleston Heston's old racist ass went to Northwestern. I said it and I'll say it again. But these are the guns for the NRA that Charleston Heston's love so much. All right. But you know, you find out who their alumni are, it's like, damn, everybody and their mother almost went to Northwestern, right? So, but they need to do, like, Pat needs to do it now. If he can do it for 3 years and make that uniform something that somebody wants to wear in a rap video, you can start getting these kids from these areas where they have just an abundance of football talent. You know what I'm saying? Like, you getting into Texas, dog, you can get some kids with some great academics who can also run their ass off. You know what I'm saying? Listen, you should be able to get you a David Montgomery up in that shit. Damn it, can we get a David Montgomery?
You know, Kenneth, you said something that I'm glad you touched on. I was going to go this route. There's one way that I really think that Northwestern can really help themselves in getting these kids. But we're going to talk about that on the other side of the break. We're going to take a quick break, and on the other side, I'll tell you what I think they need to do. They need to talk to one of their partners and be like, look, we need your help big time. So don't go anywhere, folks. We're going to talk a little more Northwestern on the other side of the break. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago.
BoomerNaturals.com presents the Sports Flash on 1330 and 95.9 The Zone. No major free agent moves made by the Bulls heading into the new season. Training camp starts in just about 2 weeks. New VP of basketball operations, Arturas Karnisovas and GM Mark Eversley have mostly been quiet. Clearly the biggest move so far, drafting former Florida State Seminoles freshman forward Patrick Williams 4th overall in the draft. They also added undrafted free agent Devin Dotson, a former Kansas Jayhawks point guard. Shooting guard Denzel Valentine and guard Adam Makoka have been given offers. The team did let Chris Dunn and Shaquille Harrison walk away in free agency. The Bears had the bye week, but perhaps a little bit of help. The Green Bay Packers, the team ahead of them in the NFC North, upended in overtime, 34-31, the final against the Colts. Boomer Naturals, your source for 3-layer protective face masks. Breathable protection for adults and kids. Save 20% with promo code SPORTS at BoomerNaturals.com. Chuck Sanders, that's the Sports Flash, 1330 95.9 The Zone.
Shop incredible Macy's Black Friday specials right now while supplies last and get the holidays' hottest deals before they're gone. Like cozy sweaters, just $39.99. Refresh the bedrooms in your home with 65% off Charter Club Damask and Damask Designs sheets and bedding. Then cozy up with matching pajama sets for the family, only $19.99 and under. Right now at Macy's. Plus, buy online and get contact-free curbside pickup or pickup in store today. Details at Macys.com/pickup. Savings off sale and clearance prices. Exclusions apply.
Want to hear something amazing? Discover matches all the cash back you earn on your credit card at the end of your first year, automatically, dollar for dollar, with no limit on how much you can earn. Extra cash? Come on, how amazing is that? In fact, it's even more amazing when you realize all the places where Discover is accepted. 99% of places in the U.S. that take credit cards. So when it comes to Discover, get used to hearing yes more often. Learn more at discover.com/yes. 2020 Nielsen Report limitations apply.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago. And right before the break, we were talking about Northwestern and you know, our affinity for them. I love Fitz. I've had many a conversation with Fitz when he was recruiting some of my players when I was over at Curie. His dad's a St. Rita alum like mine, so like I am. So we hit it off there. the one thing that I think they really need to do, and you talked about, they need to get an image. They need to have Under Armour is their sponsor. And I met Kevin Plank back when I first got into broadcasting. This was years ago. And he was coming back from a Northwestern game. It was right after Northwestern had just switched over to Under Armour. And, they need to make some dope ass uniforms.
I was thinking about watching the game, Shawn.
Like Oregon, like Philip Knight. Phil Knight, the guy who owns Nike, is an Oregon alum. So in case you guys didn't know, Philip Knight, the founder of Nike, went to University of Oregon. So if you ever wonder why you can go there for 5 years and never wear the same combination of helmet, shirt, pants, socks, and shoes ever, you wear it once, it's because he's the alum, and so they get different things. That's a school. I think if they started getting some swag, some dope stuff, and take it into the 21st century. We love the old cat, with that they had on before. That's cool. Nothing like retro, but get a new young 35-year-old designer, you know what I'm saying, who's just outside of that young hip hop but knows what's up in the hip hop era, and get those uniforms dope. Get them swaggy. You know what I mean? And I think that would go a huge way. And because you have 5 helmets, I think they have like 3 helmets now. Get like 5, 7 different helmets. You got the money. Hell, you're Northwestern. Get dope it out like that, and it'll be a lot easier to draw some more talent.
It sounds like it's not that serious.
You're right.
But I was watching that game, and the first thing I thought was they need to change those jerseys, right? Like I'm watching it like, dude, what this jersey doesn't say anything to me about Northwestern. You know what I'm saying? Like, and also, you know what? If you're gonna be purple, sometimes really be purple. Like, and I'm just like just looking at it, and I was joking when I said, you know what, they need to sit there and get in some rap videos, but I'm serious that they need to switch up their swag to really put them out there, because look, young people, and like I said, I'm just talking to my son. He doesn't know Northwestern is right by Chicago. You know what I'm saying? Like, for instance, if we went to another state, right, and they asked somebody 13, be like, Northwestern? And they're like, yeah, they're in the Big Ten. Be like, where are they at? You know what I'm saying? Let's just say they're fair weather football fans. They're not diehard college football fans. Most people, because the name of his Northwestern, isn't necessarily going to know where the hell it was. As a young kid, I didn't know that it was a superior academic school. You know what I'm saying? It was right here. If I knew, I would have tried to set myself up to make it into the school. But that was just watching that game. That was one of the things that jumped out. Like, dude, they have to put this out there, and they're not putting it out there to where you can start to recruit a tad bit better. You have the quarterback out there that got his first interceptions. Listen, I was watching the game and I was happy for Shorty, right? But I was like, Shorty needs to be in the slot, because if they were recruiting the kids that I would want to bring in, that my Jalen Johnsons, my guys would have had interceptions already this year or whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? And it's just, it makes you listen. When you're opining for Donnell Autry because the running game is so terrible, it's just like, dude. And look, but one thing I can say this: I'm happy watching that game. I'm happy with the new offensive coordinator. And it's one thing with the Bears, and you kind of saw with Bill Lazor last week. It's like, you know what? You like this shotgun? We about to give you this shotgun, right? And we're gonna sit here, 1, 2, 3, let's go, right? At times where it was like, okay, because it's like, how about the run the ball? You can't run, right? Until the end of the game, when it was time to run the clock down, it was like, hey, go ahead and run the ball. You know what I'm saying? I liked what I saw from Northwestern, and like Ivan was saying, yeah, I think they can cause some trouble to Ohio State. They're not beating Ohio State. No. And also another thing with Indiana and probably Ohio State didn't believe in Indiana either. It's like right. Northwestern's not going to sneak up on Ohio State like Indiana snuck up on Ohio State. Because, one thing is people know Northwestern that's what Northwestern does. You know what I'm saying? Like in years where it's like, Northwestern, they got you. You know what I'm saying? People know, okay, that's some tricky Northwestern
There's
shit.
history at Northwestern.
Right, of doing that. In Indiana.
Antoine Randall L.
That's it, right?
Hey, you know what? I want to bring in our guy. He's going to take the baton over at the top of the hour, and we get him on this college football talk at Northwestern, because he is a football official. So figure he might know a little bit about football. He is one of the co-hosts of one of the hottest shows on SportsZone Chicago. It's called What's Up, Cuz. He's going to be on tonight, and we can also ask him who his guests are. Dude, this dude's talking about. He said he already said they're getting Tom Izzo. I'm like, Did you just say the H to the Izzo? You got Izzo coming on your show in a couple weeks? Like, yeah.
Are you?
I was like, damn, dude. I'm like, work it, Papa, work it. I ain't mad at you. So whenever they're trying to get AK and the Bulls GM and everything, these guys are the bomb. Like I said, one of the hottest shows on SportsZone Chicago. You can find him on Twitter at Jay Coyden. That's JayCoyden. Man, let's bring him on. It's our good friend, our brother, Jason Palmer. Jay said, "What's up, Papa?"
What's up, fellas? Happy Monday to you. Happy Monday
House
to
Music
you.
Monday, baby. House Music Monday, baby.
Yeah, it is, baby. I got my little musical theme in the background.
I
just
see.
for you today,
What do you have?
yeah.
Like, is there like a rolling thing that you have? Like you could roll a rolling background and change it up. Is that what you got? You know, one day you got Earth, Wind, and Fire. The next day, now you got jazz.
I'm pretty blessed, man. My wife hooked us up with a really good house, and she allowed me to decorate one room. So this is the one room I got. so
do you have like 4 walls? Like when we were doing stuff out of Logic, we had 4 different walls that were different shows.
I do, and that's basically the setup. I got 4 different walls and different kind of background setups. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 5 different setups I can use for a background. So pretty good, man. But hey, man, y'all talking about Northwestern, and first of all, Ken, I agree with everything you're saying. They gotta upgrade them uniforms, man, because you got to get some attraction in that. You know, it's like you forget their colors are purple because they got so much black in the damn uniform. But that's actually one of the things we're gonna bring up tonight with our guests, because we got Chris Collins on our show tonight. We got the Northwestern men's head basketball coach, Chris Collins, on our show. And I'm gonna ask that Ken Davis question to Chris tonight. Like, you know, what kind of unis y'all got, you know, for hoopers? But I agree with you, Shawn. I think, you know, they got to be able to get in a couple of athletes and, you know, get them tutoring. If that's what you need to do. If that's what you need to do, man, I think if you do that, man, Northwestern could be a hot destination for athletes in all sports. You already know it's a top-notch academic school, and just the connections that you have. I mean, I did one summer program there after I graduated from Chicago State. I did a summer program there for 9 weeks with the Medill School of Journalism, and just the contacts that I had from Medill in Northwestern is what led to my career in that. I never had to leave Chicago to be a journalist because they already had connections here. And just from me going there 9 weeks, I was able to start my career in Chicago and keep it in Chicago. So I definitely agree with you guys on the Wildcat Nation. I think they got a lot of potential. And let's see if they can really take it to the next level, man, because Fitz has got a good team, man. That was a big win. The people up here in Wisconsin were pissed. And I was absolutely
where's my gun?
Right. So they were mad. Green Bay lost in overtime and Wisconsin lost. So I was quite happy.
Domestic violence must have shot up this weekend when Wisconsin.
Listen, you know one thing.
Women on men.
to add on to that, another thing too, and now we'll find out after he's gone. Northwestern needs to take advantage of Michigan being down, because those are some of the kids you can get. You really need to take advantage, because Michigan's going to try to figure out what they're doing next. I forgot who you had on the show, Shawn, like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I was talking about, like, the problem with Michigan is they don't know who the hell they are. They think they're old school Michigan, and now they're going to come out of this wilderness and try to do it over again. And I don't know if they're going to get Rich Rod and go out, as far as he doesn't have to be a Michigan man, you know, so they'll stick with getting a Michigan dude. But you can get those academic players that go to Michigan, and you can get them in Northwestern, because Michigan, they got their heads stuck up there, you know what's.
Yeah.
You know, and one of the things you got to do is because Chicago's so diverse and everyone wants to go to Ohio State and Michigan and there. Okay, then don't worry about Chicago right now. You go get those kids from Florida, you go get those kids from Texas, and you go get those kids from Cali. You know, then you can say now you can go after those top-notch prospects in Chicago, because we have a lot of top, and even if it's not the best, but maybe he's a 4-star recruit. Okay, a 4-star recruit with a 4.7 GPA. So now you're not even having to kind of use that waiver of one of those kids. You're getting a top-notch talent, a great academic kid who's staying home. You know what I mean? He's staying home, because kids just seems like no one wants to stay at Northwestern, just because Northwestern will have one good year and then for 3 or 4 years, then another good year, and then you know what I mean? They're not up there consistently. And you know, as far as them beating Ohio State, Ken, out of 10 times, Ohio State will get them 8.5, 9. Okay, but it's that one time. This year in the Big Ten championship could be that time. 3 years or 4 years from now, down in that Big Ten championship, maybe Ohio State loses and they're able to win it. They're not going to be compete with Ohio State. But when you play them one game, it's it. One game.
It won't be this year, Shawn. I just want to let you know.
No, it won't be this year. But I will tell you what. Peyton Ramsey, dude. I thought that the kid from Clemson, Hunter Johnson, was going to be the dude, and we had Matt Brown on. And Matt Brown's like, no, he's not even starting. I was like, what? He's like, yeah. He said that this kid, Peyton Ramsey, is the dude. And wow, I am impressed. And then
I was too.
And then the thing about Fitz, he fired his offensive coordinator last year. He brought in a new guy, and you don't see that because like you had Coach Jerry. Do you remember the DB's coach? He's with Northwestern. No, at Northwestern, the DB coach. He went to Northwestern. He's coach. Dude, he's like 65, 70 years old. Dude, he's been there like his whole life. Like the loyalty that they have at Northwestern is deep. Mm-hmm. But Fitz said, "Hey, listen, I need a new offense. I need to put more points up," and he let that offensive coordinator go and brought in. It just slipped my mind. But this guy was wanted. And what was funny? His dream job was a coach to be an offensive coordinator at Northwestern.
Right.
And now look at it. Now and QB is it. So because now what I need, I'm not trying to make it racial. Go get you a black quarterback. Go get you a joker who can sling it, but it also can run. Because you get a quarterback like look at Ohio State. Look at a lot of quarterbacks in the country around the country now. There are these dual athlete quarterbacks. You go get a stud like that somewhere.
Their black quarterback wouldn't be able to run. They would get one of those black kids with no speed and be like, damn it. Right? It's stationary ass black quarterback.
Black kids can run fast and jump high.
hey, but you know what? I think, that's a good conversation. I think, you should really have State Senator Napoleon Harris on your show, Shawn, to really talk about that. He went to Northwestern and then had a career in the NFL with the Raiders and the Chiefs. And he was on our show earlier this year. Napoleon's got thoughts on that. And I know Napo is real excited right now about what the Wildcats are doing. I may try to sneak him on our show in a week or two if Northwestern can keep this up. But I think it's really big for Northwestern. I think it could be huge for the city of Chicago. But I do think there is that disconnect between Northwestern and the city for some reason, even though they had the campaign. The Wildcats of Chicago's Big Ten team.
Big Ten team,
they've had that, but has it really resonated? Does it really connect with kids? And let's be honest, does it connect with kids from the South Side and the West Side of Chicago?
Right.
Okay. Right. If you're a kid who grew up in the northern suburbs, or maybe on the north side of Chicago, where you're actually physically closer to Evanston, it will connect for you. But it doesn't connect really with the kids on the South Side for some reason. Even though there are a ton why you gotta go get talented. There are a ton of talented athletes in Evanston too, Shawn.
That's why you got to go get those kids, those Texas, California, Florida kids. Mm-hmm. The ones who probably wouldn't make it academically because they'll see some swag. They'll see some kids who look like them and act like them and talk like them and like, oh snap! I didn't know I can go there. And so you start getting it. You make it to a Big Ten championship game this year, win or lose, doesn't even matter. Now, all of a sudden, people, kids are opening their eyes. You make a Big Ten championship in 2 or 3 years down the road, more and more Chicago kids are opening their eyes, and so you're going to need that. And if you can do that, and we can start getting some kids from the South and the West Side because they need to start keeping some homegrown talent home.
Listen, I think the thing is this too, because one, it's everything that you just said, Jason. Really, it even more applies to U of I, right? And that's why I kind of have more of affinity for Northwestern because of that. Even though it was nice to see that Auburn got hit with self-penalized himself yesterday because of my hate for Bruce Pearl. Anyway, that's for a whole different subject for a whole different day. But the thing is, though, when you look at a school like Phillips, Northwestern needs to also sell their academics to young black males as far as, guess what? we're one of the top 20 academic schools in this nation. All right. Like, as far as look, if you want the best academics around Chicagoland, you either go to the University of Chicago or us. And guess what? The University of Chicago got rid of football a long time ago. So if you because if you can get to these parents and say, listen, your son's going to be at Everson, you don't have to worry about nothing.
Come see him every week.
If he walks out with this in his hand, he can open as many doors as any door that he wants to open up. If you start, because if you get to these coaches, but it goes to what Jason is saying, there's a racial divide that these coaches, just like you see, listen, you can see it with Jason's family. All right. As far as the urban, like, if I was a college coach, I would have an urban on my squad all the time. You know what I'm saying? Because it makes the most sense. You know what I'm saying? But there's always this divide where it's like these coaches that you know are a funneling system. You do not have them as far as your recruiters or anything like that. And now you know you're not going to get these primetime athletes, especially primetime athletes at the schools where you know they're probably doing well with their academics.
Yeah, there's right now. We talked about it. They're on the cusp. Northwestern's on the cusp. They're on the cusp of being really, really good and really, really, really relevant to Chicago kids. And you know, the thing about Chicago, just think of, you know, there's more than enough talent for kids to stay home and go to Northwestern and Illinois. You know what I mean? Yes. There's that much talent in the Chicagoland area.
Yes,
there's that much talent. So now they got to keep him there. And you know, I love Lovey. I love for what he did with the Bears, got us to the Super Bowl, Rex. But you know, so I'd like for him to succeed. But I like Fitz as well. I like that's so close. So I mean, and it could be a good bad thing. Sometimes you want the kids to get out of Chicago, and that's a little too close for some kids. And then you know what? Then send their ass down to U of I, because you know your boys ain't driving in 2 hours, 2.5 hours down to Champaign.
We had to U of I to get these money.
You know, hey, because they just keeping it real, because they know them state troopers down there.
Oh yeah,
they don't play. So they try to go down I-57, dog.
Hey, you know what the other school is that I think about a lot too, because it's still a D1 football program, is Northern Illinois as well. You know, it is DeKalb, so you are literally in the middle of cornfields. If you have not been to Northern Illinois, it's like they just dropped a college in the middle of cornfields in DeKalb. But, you know, that's always another option, too, for our kids who may not be the 5-star or the 4-stars even to go up to DeKalb. They've had a pretty successful football program. We had their basketball coach, Mark Montgomery, on our show about a month ago. Mark is great. He's trying to keep a lot of homegrown talent, get kids to come to DeKalb. Of course, my cousin, Nick Irvin, is now an assistant over at Western Illinois, which is even in a deeper cornfield than Northern Illinois is. But, you know, Nick has been able to get some players down there. Western Illinois is going to be kind of that surprise basketball team, I think, coming up here. But, you know, my whole thing, like I've said before, Ken and Shawn, is that especially in basketball, there's no excuse for Illinois to have multiple schools in the tournament every single year. And, you know, we've gone actually sometimes recently where there was no team from Illinois that made the NCAA tournament. And I just thought that was absolutely ridiculous with the amount of D1 schools that we have here in this state, that we couldn't get one. We couldn't get one team in the NCAA tournament. It's ridiculous. So, you know, I think that is slowly changing. I think Loyola going to the Final Four a few years ago really helped it. And I just see now, you know, we should, in all honesty, Ken, we should have at least 4 or 5 teams in the NCAA tournament every single year.
Here's what they need to do. Here's what they need to do now that you're able to sell your image and likeness and all that other stuff. Mm-hmm. Like you need to make deals, car dealerships with department stores, with grocery stores, and get these kids. Because if you're talking Chicago kids, what do they know? Money. Okay, mm-hmm. not that they have it, but they understand that money makes the world go round. You know, and so hey, listen. You come here, you stay here, you stay home, you stay close to home. You go to Northern, you go to Northwestern, you go to U of I. Okay, we have this car dealership, we have this, and you can, and now you're a spokesperson for those. You can make money off your likeness. So now you don't have to really worry about kids like, you know, city kids like selling drugs. They're making money legit. You're like, hey, I don't need to be stuff. I got you know, these 3 different endorsements because of their talent. So there's ways you start making those connections with the local businesses because they're supporting the school anyway. You know, all the people down in Champaign are supporting U of I. Evanston and some Chicago, North Chicago, northern city part of the city are supporting Northwestern. Get companies and businesses there and say, hey, listen, here's our package. Depending on the tier of athlete, you get X amount of dollars just to do this. Give them an option. So now that they're like, okay, wow, they really, really want me. You got to start thinking like a business now. You got to start thinking like what these kids want. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it real.
I need to know what Jason was looking at.
I'm watching the NBA. I'm watching the NBA free agent signings, and I'm kind of.
I know there's no kids there, but you have to look up. What is your ass doing? Look, like you better sit your ass down. You better sit your ass down right now.
I'm looking at some of the money that some of these people are signing for. Like Doc Rivers just signed with the Knicks, and I'm like, he ain't worth all that money.
He ain't, dude. But you know what? You ever live in New York? You ever live in New York? You're gonna need all that money. New York and LA, you're gonna need all that money. That's a whole different game. If you sign that deal in Milwaukee, that's a whole other story.
That's true. And then Chicago's own Jahlil Okafor just signed a 2-year deal with Detroit. I didn't even know Jahlil was still able to get in the league. But okay,
with the Pelicans, so he's getting it in down there a little bit.
Yeah, and so he just got a 2-year deal here with Detroit. It looks like he just signed. So it's like rapid signings going on. So I got NBA TV off here in the background, so I can kind of keep up it. So I can talk with Shawn about that and talk with that on our show tonight too. So
yeah, that'll be our next segment, man. Hey, we gotta take a break. But what's up, Ken?
Real quick before I get out of here, shout out, tell Lance I said what's up. All right, when y'all had a show tonight, tell him I said what's up. But one thing I didn't get to talk about today, watching live, that catch that CeeDee Lamb did, where it looked like he was running that route flat and that ball was overthrown, or it was even overthrown and he ran it flat. And I'm watching it with my son, and I'm trying to explain to him how crazy it is. I'm like, dude, how he threw his body to contort and throw himself back when he recognized it. It blew my effing mind. So I just wanted to get that in before I jumped out of here. Listen, y'all have a great show. Have a great show tonight with What's Up, Cuz. Keep up the great work, fellas, and have a great week. We're not doing this Friday, right, Shawn? We off Friday?
I got to talk to the boss. I got to talk to the boss. I got to talk to the boss, and we'll see. All right. Hey, guys, we'll be back on the other side of the break. Jason Palmer takes the baton, and he runs with me for the last hour from 11 to 12, and we're going to talk a little NBA free agent signings, some more Bears talk, a whole bunch of stuff. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago.
BoomerNaturals.com presents the Sports Flash on 1330 and 95.9 The Zone. No major free agent moves made by the Bulls heading into the new season. Training camp starts in just about 2 weeks. New VP of basketball operations Arturas Karnisovas and GM Mark Eversley have mostly been quiet. Clearly the biggest move so far, drafting former Florida State Seminoles freshman forward Patrick Williams 4th overall in the draft. They also added undrafted free agent Devin Dotson, a former Kansas Jayhawks point guard. Shooting guard Denzel Valentine and guard Adam Makoka have been given offers. The team did let Chris Dunn and Shaquille Harrison walk away in free agency. The Bears had the bye week, but perhaps a little bit of help. The Green Bay Packers, the team ahead of them in the NFC North, upended in overtime, 34-31, the final against the Colts. Boomer Naturals, your source for 3-layer protective face masks. Breathable protection for adults and kids. Save 20% with promo code SPORTS at BoomerNaturals.com. Chuck Sanders, that's the Sports Flash, 1330 95.9 The Zone.
Shop incredible Macy's Black Friday specials right now while supplies last and get the holidays' hottest deals before they're gone. Like cozy sweaters, just $39.99. Refresh the bedrooms in your home with 65% off Charter Club Damask and Damask Designs sheets and bedding. Then cozy up with matching pajama sets for the family, only $19.99 and under. Right now at Macy's. Plus, buy online and get contact-free curbside pickup or pickup in store today. Details at Macys.com/pickup. Savings off sale and clearance prices. Exclusions apply.
Want to hear something amazing? Discover matches all the cash back you earn on your credit card at the end of your first year, automatically, dollar for dollar, with no limit on how much you can earn. Extra cash? Come on, how amazing is that? In fact, it's even more amazing when you realize all the places where Discover is accepted. 99% of places in the U.S. that take credit cards. So when it comes to Discover, get used to hearing yes more often. Learn more at discover.com/yes. 2020 Nielsen Report. Limitations apply.
What's up, folks? Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago in this house music Monday edition. And damn straight a Bears victory Monday because we know they probably wouldn't have won if they were played yesterday. But it's a great Monday, man. You know, I went back to CrossFit this morning. Jay, let me tell you, dude, I was weak. It's been 3 weeks since I've been there. So now part of the new rules, thanks Governor Pritzker. So we got to wear masks. So I got
do CrossFit at the same time.
So I got my shredder mask. I felt like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Either that or Bane. That's hilarious. So let me tell you a funny story. This is a funny story. So Riptides was a bar on the north side, right on Armitage and 290, right next to the Jaguar dealership. It was a late night bar. It was open till 4 a.m. So I may have imbibed there once or twice. Okay.
Maybe.
And it was perfect. Hop right in the expressway, literally hop right in, not even a half a block away, hop in the expressway and get back to the south side. And so it was a little nippy. Okay. And so I had this jacket that I had from Wilson's. You remember Wilson's leather?
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like leather, like a cow hide-ish, and it had like the fur, like a lamb's fur on the inside. And it was cool. It was cool out or colder out. So I had a hat and everything. And, I'm a bigger guy, so, it fit well. So I walk in, and I was with a young lady at the time, and I walk in, and I see, like, two people, like, we're from the south side. So, you walk in, you got to scope out the joint. Doesn't matter. You know what I mean? You just got to see what's up, or where your threats could be coming from. You know what I'm saying? So I did. I'm just kind of like, and I look, and I see a dude staring, but I wasn't, sometimes people just walk in, just see who it is. No biggie, okay? But then I kept feeling eyes on me while I'm there. And I went to the bar and they're still looking at me. And, we're there about an hour and a half. And I'm like, you know what, hon, let's just go. I said, I don't want nothing to pop off. I'm like, I just don't. We're out having a good time. I got anger issues, and this is getting a little nasty. And I don't want you to see that side of me. Okay. So we get up and leave. And the guy stands up. I'm like, oh, man. He was like, dude, he goes, I'm sorry. I've been staring at you the whole night. He goes, I thought you were, I just forgot the actor's name. Because I thought you were Bane, the guy, Bane, Chris something. Forgot what he goes. He goes, you look just like him with your jacket and everything. He goes, and I want to come up and ask you for your autograph, and I didn't know if it was him or not. Tom Hardy. He goes, I thought you were Tom Hardy, Bane. He goes, I thought it was you, but I didn't know. He goes, and I was like, dude, I'm like, you have no idea. I said, that's why we're leaving, dude. I said, I didn't, I'm not trying to start no trouble. Those are my younger days. You know what I mean? I'm trying to get a little crazy. Dude, I'm sorry. Let me buy you guys a beer. So we sat down and bought a beer. Dude was cool as hell.
Nice.
But
everybody's wearing masks now, working out. You got to be real careful with that because, you can pass out if you wear that mask and not getting enough oxygen as you're doing your workout, So
it's got the ventilators.
Okay.
And I went and to La Garra this weekend, a flea market, for those of you who don't understand. A flea market, La Garra. Because you find everything there. And so I went around, I went to the one on 127th and Cicero. Right off of that, you know which one I'm talking
about. Out there in Alsip. Yep, right by the cemetery.
So I went and I'm looking, because I've seen these. I've seen not there, but I'm like, they got to have them. They have everything at La Garra. Right. They have everything. Right. Okay. So I'd go up, hey, do you have the one? No, sorry. Okay, no problem. And I walk, like the fourth person I asked. She actually had a sports setup, gloves and belts and fitness stuff. And I asked her, I said, would you happen to have this? She goes, no. She goes, no. But when the guy at the table where you walk, did you walk in this door? I was like, yeah. She goes, he has them. He has them. I was like, no way. Sure enough, walked over there. The guy, I had it. I was happy as a pig in slop, Jay. I'm telling you, I got my shredder mask. I feel good. My Bane mask.
How much he hit you for? How much he hit you for? Okay. There you go. That's the flea market.
Seven. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't even trying to negotiate. I was like, seven. We're good. We're good. There's no problem. We're good, baby. We're good. So yeah, it was an interesting time yesterday at La Garra. I literally just went for this. I paid you got to pay your $2. I remember when it was 50 cents. I've been going there for Bane It used to be a quarter, then it was 50 cents, and now it's $2. But
okay,
$2 to walk in there. But I found my mask. I found my shredder, my Bane mask. I gotta go find my my jacket's in the garage. I'm gonna put that on with my Bane mask. That's what I'm gonna do. Too bad Halloween passed. I could have been Bane for Christmas for Halloween. But let's get back to sports. So you were talking about a lot of NBA signings, man, and oh man. You know, I was surprised as well. Gordon Hayward.
Yeah.
Gordon Hayward?
Yeah.
4 years, what was it, 146 million or something like that?
And Jason Tatum got the highest what a rookie could get. He got a max contract for a rookie. He got like 190 million or something with the Celtics.
Was he 23, 24?
Yeah, man. I was like, whoo. I guess the economy ain't in a depression in some places, huh?
Apparently not. Apparently not. I got in the wrong line of work. Damn, I should have been a pro basketball player.
You know what though? But you know what, Shawn, I was thinking about, and I was talking about this with my wife the other day. It's almost as if now it's not free agent season anymore. It's more who got next season. I think that's what I'm gonna start calling it. Who got next? Because the players are basically putting their own teams together. You know, the elite stars are basically putting their teams together. And then they let the GM sign, the filler people off the bench. The NBA is in a very interesting place right now because of that. How teams are put together, how players are developed. It's good to hear that the Bulls finally decided we probably need a player development department as opposed to one guy. I think that's progress for the organization. But I think the team, the core of the team, which are going to be your superstars now, those are guys who just say, hey, I want to play here. So in addition to the Bulls creating a player development department and bringing in coaches and all that, they need almost like a recruiting department, someone who can sell Chicago to the premier free agents, and that should be their only job. This is your main job. Get us the top superstar in the game.
That's Mark Eversley. That's Mark Eversley. Remember, he worked for Nike. He worked for Nike for years. He worked for Nike in the client relation department. So that's the dude you're talking about. That dude, that's our GM. That's Mark Eversley. Where you're talking about, I'm not going to call Kevin Durant's people. I'm calling Kevin Durant. Like that type of stuff. I'm not going to reach out to his people. I'm going to reach out to him. And that's what Mark Eversley was. And when the Bulls did that, that's when AK, the first thing he mentioned was he hired a player development staff.
Right.
Yeah. Like, this is your only job is to work on focus on developing players. There's a crazy idea. Holy cow. Right. Develop the multi-million-dollar players that we have. Help them get better. You know what I mean? And that's how that shows you the shift, the paradigm shift that the Bulls have. Now you still got old man Reinsdorf up there. You still got Pax somewhere up there. You know what I mean? But they're not making those decisions, right? They're insulated. They're above that. Who's making those decisions are people who know how to make those decisions. And you got AK once he signed Mark Eversley with that Nike background, I loved it. Then he goes and hires the department. I love it. Then he goes and hires Billy the Kid. I love it. Then Billy the Kid goes and hires Mo Cheeks. I love it. There's a lot of things lining up very well for this Chicago Bulls team. And I'm going to tell you what. The Bulls are going to win a lot of games at the end of the year because of Billy Donovan and Maurice Cheek. Because you have point guards. Now you're being taught by great point guards on how to run an offense and how to be smarter at the end of games. Mo Cheeks was not only is he a Hall of Famer, he was all defensive team, a multiple time all defensive team. Okay, this guy knew how to run an offense. You got Dr. J, you got Bobby Jones, you got Antoine Tony, you got Big Mo. Okay, he ran that offense. Watch this basketball IQ for our guards, which is extremely important because Kobe White's 19 years old now, maybe 20. Zach LaVine's still young. Denzel Valentine's still malleable. Okay, watch how this changes the end of games for our Bulls.
Well, the part I'm looking for, to your point, is to see how they teach those young point guards to get Lauri Markkanen involved in the offense. How to get him in a good position on where you want to get him the ball. I think if there was I think the biggest indictment against Jim Boylan after he was trying to develop a bench, which I still couldn't believe that nonsense. But I think the biggest indictment is the regression we saw in Lauri Markkanen. And it was unbelievable. I do think some of that was physical. I don't think the young man was in the best physical condition. But I saw them putting him in a bad position, and I saw a player lose his confidence. And last year, I think that was basically what we saw. We saw Lauri Markkanen lost all of his confidence, and it hurt the Bulls when that happened. So I think I really want to see how they teach these point guards to play with Lauri Markkanen, how to keep Lauri in the game and be an offensive force. And then my other concern about the Bulls is defense. At some point, you do have to play defense, Zach LaVine. And
but he can.
Been awful.
We've seen it, dude.
We've seen him play.
Team. I'm like, we saw Zach LaVine. Remember what was it, Kemba Walker one game?
Yeah.
Dude, at the end of the game, like he locked him up like he stole something. I'm like, you can play defense.
You can, right?
You just don't want to.
Right.
You just don't want to, and they're not being held accountable to play defense.
Right. I think we've got to get this team to play some defense at a certain point. So that's going to be the other interesting development. I'm looking to see what they do to get Lauri Markkanen back on his square. And I'm looking to see what they do at the team defensive philosophy. I think change in those two areas is going to get this team an extra 15 wins, which will get them in the playoffs. I think the East will be, probably mediocre again. There is no reason why the Bulls shouldn't be at least the 5th seed in the East and possibly even in the top 3.
The Bulls definitely have the talent. Now they need to. Here's the thing that needs to happen. They need to buy into, and I think they will. But they need to buy into AK, Mark Eversley, and Billy the Kid. They need to buy into that holy trinity, so to speak. If they do, because I think Lowry's going to buy in because of AK, both European. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I mentioned the point guards. Levine, White, Valentine, and then who's the other guy that they just signed? I can't.
The Devin, the undrafted free agent.
No. The guy, the free agent that they just signed. It's not coming up on my. I can't think of.
It's been so many signings. It's hard for me to keep up.
No, it's the one, the latest one. He just signed it for 1 year, $5 million.
Okay.
But to me, that's going to be like I'm so. That's when you make smart decisions. When you don't hurt yourself, you don't shoot yourself in the foot, you win an extra 5 to 10 games. How many times have we seen in basketball where you just make bad decisions, bad passes, bad shots? You push the ball up the court 1-on-4. You're like, what the hell are you doing? 1-on-4. You're 6'1". What are you doing?
Right.
But you want to do that. And, you those decisions that will be made, okay, are what's going to get this Bulls team. Like I said, I love the Billy Donovan and Maurice Cheeks for the guards. I love the AK for Lowry. I think he's going to be a big influence for Lowry. And I'm excited to see Lowry because Lowry, his rookie year and then started his first game his second year before he got hurt. Man, he dropped 30. And I think that him playing here in the States, when you just come from Europe, it's more of a
it's less physical.
Less physical. But when 1 year at Arizona, you got a lot of trash talking, you got physical play, and I think he came in the NBA ready. Then he came in, he found the weight room. Ooh, I love the fact that he found the weight room. You know what I mean? And this kid is so talented. To me, he was the second superstar. It was Zach LaVine, it was Lauri Markkanen, and they need that third one. If they can get Lauri Markkanen his confidence back, I think he will supersede, or he'll in the pecking order that is on every team. I think he will go ahead of Zach LaVine because he's so versatile, because he can take you down low, because he can hit the mid range, because he can pull you out and hit you with a 3, because he can put it on the floor and go by you, because he can pass, because there's so many. His kid is the poor man's Dirk Nowitzki, and I think even just more muscular, and I think that's going to help him bang low in the post, which you and me and Maya, we love when guys just bang in the post.
Right. And I also think the development of Wendell Carter Jr. and
We need to get to him. Yeah.
Keeping him healthy is going to be the first part of his development. Keeping Wendell Carter Jr. healthy so that he can play out there with marketing along with Zach. And, you can do some things. You got Kobe White. You can do a whole lot of different looks, that versatility. And I think Billy Donovan is going to take care of that.
Listen to this five. So you got Kobe White, you got Zach LaVine, you got Otto Porter Jr. as long as he's healthy, Wendell Carter, and Lowry. That's, you know what I mean? Like that's a nice starting five. That's a nice
Denzel coming off the bench.
Dude, I'm telling you, I love Denzel. I really, really, really do.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that, I was telling Kenneth, I'm like, that's a guy, you come out of a Tom Izzo program, okay, for 4 years. Your basketball IQ is high. Now your athletic ability might not be, as great as others, and that's fine. You don't always win with athletics. You know what I'm saying? When you know how to run, a unit, and that's what we were talking about. Look at all the upsets in the NCAA tournaments. Whenever there's a big upset, go look at the guards. They're juniors and seniors, and they've been there. They've been to the tournament. They're this experience that they've had. They're calm. They're cool. They're collected. And you see the big upsets against a team with the 3 and 4 and 5, 5-star recruits. Okay, why? Because they're just playing basketball and they have no foundation. And you get good guard play, good, solid, fundamental basketball late in games, it means the world. And that's, then I have a feeling I'm going to see a pick and roll with Kobe White and Lowry Marketing, with Zach LaVine and Lowry Marketing. You know what I mean? And because that's a killer. Because Lowry can do everything. He can do everything Zach can do. He's just 7 feet.
Yeah, I think, and Lance said it when he was on your show Friday, that, the league is becoming more of a pick and roll offensive kind of game. So, we're going to see a lot of Stockton and Malone type stuff. Because here's the thing. You can do so much off the pick and roll. There's a reason why the play has been around 100 years. There's so many derivatives of it that you can use. But you got to be able to set solid screens. The person who's setting the screen needs to be able to pop that jumper from 15 to 18 feet. The person coming off the screen has got to be able to drive the ball or know when to pull up or know when to drive and dish. There's so many things you can run just off of a pick and roll type offense if you have the proper talented and the people with proper skill sets who are put in the proper position. I think what has happened with the Bulls under Boylan was he never knew how to put his players in the best position. 1. 2, they never bought into his team philosophy or what he was trying to do with his vision. And frankly, I don't blame him because his vision was
crap
off. So, the players know, the players know, man, they've been playing the sport their whole life, I just think getting rid of Boylan is going to be worth 5 wins easily this year. And you just seem to feel like the players are more happy now.
There's a weight lifted off their shoulders.
Yeah, right. There's a morale. And I think that's probably the concern that we have with our baseball team with the White Sox is, what is LaRussa going to do to the morale of our White Sox? We didn't hear a lot of White Sox players jumping up and down celebrating Tony La Russa coming to Chicago. Jose Abreu said he doesn't have a problem with it, but that's what a leader does. But I didn't hear a bunch of White Sox players excited about Tony La Russa. I do think with the Bulls, we're seeing that. We're seeing that sense of excitement. The players know it's a new day. I think they believe in themselves. I don't think there's been any infighting amongst this group of players that we know of. So I think they all get along well. I think they all want to be successful. And I think they see this coaching change as a lifeline for them as a team.
Yeah, I do too. I think they're human. They see it. They know it. They're going through it. And we see it. They see it. I think they're going into it with a whole new attitude, a whole new mindset of, wow. Because you just look at the dominoes that have fallen. Like, you're serious. Like, the Bulls are serious about getting better. The Bulls are serious about being a contender. Okay, you take that staff and the people, and not just getting rid of the staff. Talk about who you're bringing in and what they've done. it shows. We went over that. We talked about it. We talked about how hiring Mark Evers. We talked about building a player development. We talked about all these things, hiring Billy the Kid, all these things. People, athletes know. They see, and they're like, whoa, that might be a place I may want to go play.
Right.
And that's what we haven't had since Michael. Chicago as a destination for top-notch free agents. Hell, I'll even take a middle-of-the-road free agent. You know what I mean? Just someone, who doesn't spray on his hair like Carlos Boozer. But that's another story. But I think this is finally it's turning around. It might not be this year, but it's definitely going to be the place to come, a place that people want to come in the next couple of years.
A lot of changes going on in the Bulls. Neil Funk retired. So I don't even remember who did they ever announce who's going to be doing the games with Stacey King this year?
Adam Amin.
There you go. All right, there you go. So change all around, man. Changes in the booth, changes in the front office, changes on the bench. Long time coming. Hopefully coronavirus will ease up on us and we'll actually be able to go see this team play. But training camp is in 2 weeks. It's going to be real interesting. Our other guest tonight, we're waiting for a confirmation probably the next 30 minutes or so, but we are going to probably get NBA referee Mark Davis, who is from Chicago. He's a Chicago guy. He's probably going to be our second guest on What's Up Cuz tonight, starting at 6 o'clock. And Mark is going to talk about a little bit about his path through officiating and what the officials have had to go through this past year. And, now with the season starting for them, it's a very short training camp. The season just ended a month ago. Here they are, back at it. And they're going to talk. Mark's going to talk to us a little bit about that and what new rule changes there are for this upcoming season and how those will be implemented. He will explain that. He's a very unique guy. I think what the NBA Referees Association does under his leadership, he actually is the leader of that organization, is they have really tried to educate fans online through their Twitter account in terms of why certain calls are called, why other things are not called. They've kind of put themselves out there. Most of the time in the officiating community, we try to not be noticed. I think the NBA referees are taking a different approach where they're trying to make themselves more presentable, have more of a kind of an open concept with the fans. They try to explain stuff. I still don't think it's going to help some fans who are just fanatical, but they're at least trying to make an attempt to reach out to the fan base so that people kind of understand why certain things are called the way they are. So that's a big get for us. We can get Mark. He's trying to get the final approval from the NBA this morning as I speak. But Mark Davis, he's a great guy, and he's going to join us at 6:30. Chris Collins coming on at 7 o'clock. And then at 7:30, we got Kendrick Prince, who covers U of I basketball. We're going to talk some flying line eye hoops because they're going to have a squad this year.
Yeah.
With Io coming back there, they got some players down there. So, it's an exciting time, I think, to be a basketball fan in Chicago and in Illinois. I think our college teams are about to do some surprise stuff on the hardwood in addition to our pro team here. So we're going to have a heavy basketball show today, all basketball.
Man, that's awesome, dude. That is awesome. I think that Mark Davis gets today, if he can clear that, I think that's huge because we never hear from officials. We never hear from. We just yell at them, cuss them out, everything, but we never hear from them. You know what I mean? I think that's awesome, and I think you're right. I think this, Illinois, when Io decided to stay, first of all, I was shocked, but secondly, I was like, that's awesome. And what were we just talking about earlier with Ken is you start developing that pipeline. You remember that the flying line back when I was a senior in high school, in Michigan, when Nick Anderson forgot to box out Shawn Higgins. Not that I remember it like it was yesterday or anything, but Kendall Gill had said, he was on our show, and he said every single person on that team, down to the ball boy and the managers, were from Illinois. Every single one were from Illinois. and you know what? And we talked about it as well. Like, there's so much talent, football, basketball, where you can get Northwestern, get them their fill, get U of I their fill, get Northern their fill, DePaul their fill, all these, even the University of Chicago, even the Loyola. There's more than enough talent in and around the area to give them to make them viable, to make them relevant on the national stage, just because Chicago is so deep. And it's Chicago is the number one place for high school basketball in the country, hands down.
Yeah, a lot of talent here for both the boys and the women's side.
Yep.
Without a doubt. We don't talk about the girls enough. I think DePaul has got a great women's basketball program. Doug Bruno has done that for years. He's kept the DePaul program, pretty high. We got to get some more development in some of the other women's programs around the state, because we've got just as many ladies here that we're putting into D1 colleges all around the country, and we want to keep some of them home as well. Illinois should be a premier basketball state, period.
Yeah, hands down.
And men's hoops.
Listen, we're going to take a quick break. On the other side of the break, we're going to wrap it up, last segment of the show, and we're going to talk a little Bears. We didn't get a chance to talk with you earlier, it was Ken and I, so I want to get your take on the Bears. I want to see how relaxing it was for you not having to watch the Bears yesterday. Because that took years off a lot of people's lives, not having to watch that yesterday. And so we're going to talk a little more on the other side. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago.
BoomerNaturals.com presents the Sports Flash on 1330 and 95.9 The Zone. No major free agent moves made by the Bulls heading into the new season. Training camp starts in just about 2 weeks. New VP of basketball operations Arturas Karnisovas and GM Mark Eversley have mostly been quiet. Clearly the biggest move so far, drafting former Florida State Seminoles freshman forward Patrick Williams 4th overall in the draft. They also added undrafted free agent Devin Dotson, a former Kansas Jayhawks point guard. Shooting guard Denzel Valentine and guard Adam Makoka have been given offers. The team did let Chris Dunn and Shaquille Harrison walk away in free agency. The Bears had the bye week, but perhaps a little bit of help. The Green Bay Packers, the team ahead of them in the NFC North, upended in overtime, 34-31, the final against the Colts. Boomer Naturals, your source for 3-layer protective face masks. Breathable protection for adults and kids. Save 20% with promo code SPORTS at BoomerNaturals.com. Chuck Sanders, that's the Sports Flash, 1330 95.9 The Zone.
Shop incredible Macy's Black Friday specials right now while supplies last, and get the holidays' hottest deals before they're gone. Like cozy sweaters, just $39.99. Refresh the bedrooms in your home with 65% off Charter Club Damask and Damask Designs sheets and bedding. Then cozy up with matching pajama sets for the family, only $19.99 and under. Right now at Macy's. Plus, buy online and get contact-free curbside pickup or pickup in store today. Details at Macys.com/pickup. Savings off sale and clearance prices. Exclusions apply.
Want to hear something amazing? Discover matches all the cash back you earn on your credit card at the end of your first year, automatically, dollar for dollar, with no limit on how much you can earn. Extra cash? Come on, how amazing is that? In fact, it's even more amazing when you realize all the places where Discover is accepted. 99% of places in the U.S. that take credit cards. So when it comes to Discover, get used to hearing yes more often. Learn more at discover.com/yes. 2020 Nielsen Report limitations apply.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago in this House Music Monday edition. We're going to switch gears and talk a little Bears with you, because we didn't get a chance to talk specifically with you. Ken and I talked a little earlier with Frank Schwab from Yahoo Sports. We talked about Bill Lazor. What did you like, if anything, last week from Bill Lazor when he called the plays? Like, I mean, we know he's still calling Matt Nagy's plays, right? Because he's not. You can't implement his system in a bye week. You know what I mean? So, but you can implement maybe a package or two, run some things off there. You can kind of work and eliminate. Okay, I don't like some of these plays of Nagy. I like some of these plays that Nagy had. So, he can kind of pick and choose. But what did you like, if anything, did you like from Bill Lazor last week when he called the game?
I like that early in the game, Cordell Patterson was very effective in the running back position. I thought they kind of got away from it a little bit, but based off of the personnel he had available to him, I thought he did a pretty good job for a guy who had been basically handed the keys to the car 3 days before the game. And now, we expect him to do stuff. What I want to see in the next game is a little bit more Bill Lazor into the play calling in terms of some of his plays and some of his system. It is the bye week. You can't really do too much. Don't know if Montgomery will be back yet. Did they rule him out yet, or is he still kind of in the air? I want to see some improvement on offense in terms of consistency with the running game. Again, a lot of that is predicated on the offensive line, which we know is terrible. But I just want to see some improvement. But more than anything, I want him to be less predictable than what Matt Nagy was. I think Matt Nagy was too predictable. I think the league caught up to him, knew exactly what he was going to be doing, schemed for it. And I think that's why the offense stuck. I mean, there's something to say for the talent on the team on the offensive side of the ball. That's one thing. But we can question the scheme, too, and the play call. That is well in bounds to question what Nagy was doing. So I think Lazor, we got to give him an opportunity. My biggest fear was Nagy was going to be like, see, I told you it didn't work, and he was going to take the play calling back. I think in order for this to really happen, he's got to give the guy a full chance. He's got to let the guy do it for the rest of the year. Because the bottom line is, at this point, it's too late for Nagy to save his job anyway if they're going to fire him. So just give someone else a chance, man. You're trying to save your season at this point. And you got a tough road ahead of you. You got Green Bay coming off of this bye week. And we got to play Green Bay still twice this year. We got to play Minnesota again. You got to play Detroit again. They blew their chances earlier in the season.
Yep.
So, I'm not happy about it. And I am more so of I am right there with Ken on the let's lose as much as we can to try to get us some high draft picks because we need a quarterback. Because I think that's the major question going to this game against the Packers. Who's going to be the quarterback?
That was wow. Great minds think alike, and that was going to be my question. Who do you put in there? Do you put in Nick Foles? Do you put in Mitch Trubisky? If both healthy, if Nick Foles is out, physically unable to go, well then okay, of course Mitch. But if health wise, if they're both cleared health wise, who would you start?
Nick Foles. Nick Foles. I'm sorry, Nick Foles, man. I just think he's a better quarterback than Trubisky. I get where everybody's coming from with Trubisky because he's more athletic than Nick Foles is. He's got a stronger arm than Nick Foles does, so he can throw the ball deeper. But again, the kid can't read defense. He's not going to learn how to run defense. It's the same thing with Jay Cutler. Jay Cutler couldn't read a defense. We're getting caught up with these guys' physical traits and not looking at who is a better actual quarterback, who is the better signal caller. I don't see that with Trubisky, and I don't see, even if we were to change coaches, and the young man's already been through, 2, 3? It's not going to change, man. The kid wasn't ready. We made a mistake. Just admit we made a mistake when we drafted him. Remove him, bring in other people. It's really that simple. Because when I watched what New Orleans did yesterday, with a dude who had less than 100 passes in the NFL, they insert him, and it's like New Orleans didn't skip a beat. Now, don't get me wrong, Atlanta is bad, but New Orleans still,
they're still professional athletes.
They're professional athletes, right? It's a plug-and-play system. That's what we don't have. It's not a plug-and-play system because the system stinks.
That's very true.
And if the system stinks, it doesn't matter who you put in there. I put it like this. With the talent that the Bears had, let's say the Bears had got lucky and signed Tom Brady. Would it have made a difference? Or would he probably gotten killed because the offensive line can't block?
Yep, I think he would have got killed. Look at Nick Foles. I mean, Nick Foles is a lot more mobile than Tom Brady, and Nick Foles isn't mobile. So, Tom knew what he was doing. Even though surprisingly Chicago was one of the final 2 teams. It was Chicago and Tampa. Because he saw that defense, he's like, that'll help me out a lot. But you also can't predict, injuries. The Cody Whitehair, the James Daniels, the COVID thing. So that kind of jacked thing up. who would you pick? So let's talk about this then. One of the things is you and I both know that the game is won from the game is played from the inside out.
Yes.
So, here's the conundrum that we're in. There's going to be a couple of really good quarterbacks coming out this year. So do you go and do you think your guy is there, or do you go and you take an offensive lineman with your first pick?
So that's a good question. Only because I know the Bears will mess it up. So
take a receiver.
Here's the thing. I think you get the tackle, the left tackle, because that's who's going to protect your franchise quarterback. So you got to have that tackle. But you also need a signal caller. So they're kind of stuck. If it's a tie between, I've got my choice between the top quarterback and the top tackle, I'm probably still going to take that top tackle.
Really? Okay.
I will just rather wait, because it does me no good to get the best quarterback and I don't have a line to protect them and I get them killed. It doesn't do me any good. Again, you can put Peyton Manning, you can put Joe Montana, you can put the greatest quarterbacks of all time behind this line, and they're going to look ordinary because they got 0.75 seconds to throw the ball before they get hit. So you got to, as hard as it is, you got to build that line, man. I got to have them 2 tackles. I got to have a strong guard so I can actually run the ball, and that will make my quarterback even better, especially a young quarterback. I wouldn't want to draft the top quarterback out there and put them behind a crappy line, because then they can't even really learn because they're not going to have time. So I would just stick to my guns and build with the tackle. It's not the popular choice. I would take the heat from the media and the fans, but I know over the long run it would help my franchise.
I don't know. It all depends on who the quarterback is that they want to get.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's the Trey Lance. Obviously, Trevor Lawrence will be gone. Kid from Ohio State will be gone. But you also got the Trey Lance kid. You have the kid out of Florida. There's a couple of kids. If you don't, and Ken brought up a great point. There are a lot of people here in the NFL who have their guy at quarterback, so they don't need quarterbacks. Okay, so you got some of the horrible teams. They're in their first year, second year with their new quarterback, and he's not going to turn around in 1 year. They're in the process of rebuilding, so they don't need a quarterback. I don't know what I would take. I think the offensive tackle out of Oregon is the number 1 tackle coming out. So I don't think we'll get him, but I wouldn't mind taking the second or third best. The second or third best offensive tackle. Excuse me, I'm okay with that. But I just don't know who I would take. I need both. Maybe you can sneak back up into the first round with a second round pick and some cash or something. And guess if you see an offensive lineman that you had graded high. I don't know. I just the chicken or the egg. The chicken or the egg, and that's the whole thing. I still think I would. Man, I don't even know. Because I'm like, well, let's get the quarterback. The quarterback's fine. You can still let Nick Foles play. Let him sit for a year on Nick Foles. But
look like Shawn froze on me. All right, so I'll go to another point then, and I'll say this. By getting that tackle, you're also helping your running game as well. So it's not just a pass protector for your quarterback. It's also, the running game. The Bears' running game is awful. They can't run between the tackles. They can't run outside the tackles. They can't run directly behind the center. They just can't run, period. So they've got to get some offensive linemen in the system in order for them to develop their offense. And right now, with the line that they have, it's you just can't do anything. You're trying to do things while you're handcuffed behind your back. So for me, looking at this Bears team going forward, they've got to get an offensive line. I think they're strong enough at the tight end position. I think they're strong enough at the receiving position. I think David Montgomery is a good running back, and let's be honest, running backs come a dime a dozen. You can always pick someone else up. We got Lamar. Lamar didn't get the ball a lot in that last game, but I think Lamar is a former Pro Bowl running back, so I think you're okay in your running back position. I think you're okay in your receiver position, and I think you're okay in your tight end position. But they do not have an offensive line at all. With the exception of Cody Whitehair, there's really nobody else on that team in the offensive line that I personally would like to see. So going forward, it'll be real interesting to see what the Bears do to address it. I think the way you do it is to address it through the draft. My personal philosophy is I would have to trade some of my defensive pieces to either get established NFL offensive linemen, or I'm going to trade some of them to get me some draft picks to move up in the first round to get me some offensive linemen. So just kind of my philosophy. So thank you everybody for staying with us here in Shawn and Maya. We are having looks like we're having some technical difficulties as both Shawn and Ivan have disappeared on me. So I don't know if we are having something in Chicago with the internet connections or something, but something is obviously going on because both the producer of this show and the host of it have disappeared. So me, your guest, has become apparently the fill-in host, and I will talk some NBA talk as well. Denzel Washington has agreed to a 1-year, $4.7 million qualifying offer with the Chicago Bulls. And Shawn looks like he's coming right back here in a minute, but Denzel has signed now. And there's also Garrett Temple apparently has signed with the Bulls. I think that was the name that Shawn was trying to come up with earlier. Garrett Temple. Yeah, Garrett Temple is also signed with the Bulls. So they got him, and looks like Chicago's own Tim Hardaway Jr. has exercised his player option worth $18.9 million, and he'll be back with the Dallas Mavericks. So, it's a lot of signings. It's just as I'm sitting here on the show, a lot of stuff is kind of popping up here. So I love both you and Ivan at the same time. So I said there must be some Chicago internet stuff going.
Yeah, we both got locked out.
What was that? You got locked out too?
I did.
Yeah,
I did.
What the hell? What was going on right there? It's crazy.
That Chicago internet y'all got, man.
Right.
So yeah, but my thing was, Shawn, that I think the Bears should look at the offensive line, and at this point, I'm in favor of some of your defensive pieces to get a couple more first round picks so that I can fully build my offensive line with tackles and some guards. Because here's my other point about that, Shawn, when you asked me that question. The reason why I get a tackle is not just to protect my franchise quarterback, but it also helps my running game. So that person serves two purposes. Where my quarterback is mostly going to be for my passing game, unless I get a running quarterback. But let's be honest, you don't really want to be a running quarterback in the NFL because you will get killed eventually.
Yeah, it's tough. That's a tough deal. One thing that we're not talking about is that defense.
Mm-hmm.
We're not talking about that defense. Chuck Pagano, I really wish he would be able to release the hounds, a little more. And whether he was told not to, whether he feels he can't because of the points, whatever. I just wish he could have been a little more, or he would be a little more aggressive. I think you got the dogs to do it. I think I want to see some I want to see more twists. I want to see more stunts. I want to see those things, and you got the studs to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You got the studs to do it, and I'm just a little disappointed in the lack of production. No aggressiveness from the defense, because they've been productive. They've been good in the fourth quarter, but I'm talking dominant, and they're not as dominant as I want them to be.
Well, let me ask you this.
Uh-huh.
Is that because Eddie chose to opt out this year?
Partly, yeah. Partly, yeah.
Because I think he's a big part. You know, you lose that guy, especially playing that 3-4 defense. I think the defense would have been even better if he had been in. And I'm not saying he was wrong for opting out. I support his decision. But could you imagine what the defense would be like if he was in there? Because I think that would have actually helped Robert Quinn, who at this point hasn't really lived up to his contract so far.
No, he hasn't. He does a lot of stuff that you don't see that aren't in the stat, that aren't very sexy. All right, but and people are always going to judge him by his contract and his sack numbers. He was the NFL leader in sacks last year. We want sacks. All right, but they're not worried about him setting the edge. They're not him worried about turning the ball back in so his other teammates can get it, can make the play. Most football fans don't care about that. They want sack. They want it, and they just want to see they want a double-digit gaudy sack number because of the amount of money they're getting paid. So I get that part. I get it a lot. But I think if Eddie Goldman stayed, you know, he's one of the best, if not the best, nose guard in the NFL. He's so underrated, and he demands a double team. So you look at it this way: you have to double team. You still got to double team Khalil Mack, or actually you might not have to anymore because you're allowed to hold him and trip him and grab him and horsepower him. So you know, one guy can get him easy now, and they're not going to call it. But you know, but you still got to double team Akeem Hicks. Imagine still having to double team Eddie Goldman and then Robert Quinn. Like, you just don't have enough linemen and tight ends and running backs, you know, to stay home and protect, and still and enough guys to go on the routes. That was a huge loss for the Bears. Him opting out, that was huge.
So let me ask you this. So, okay, let's say Goldman's back next year. You got Goldman, you got Hicks, you got Quinn, you got Mack. How does that work? Or I think I remember asking you and Ivan this earlier. Can you switch to a 4-3? And you guys said it would be very difficult to do it in the middle of a season. But do they consider going to a 4-3 for next year?
No, they're going to keep that 3-4. They're just going to. See, the thing about it, and here's the thing, that like most people are so, he's a 3-4, he's a 4-3, he's a 3-4, he's a 4-3. If you're in a 3-4 and you have an over and under set, and you have an outside linebacker walk up to the end of the line of scrimmage, you're in a 4-man base. You're in a 4-3. Okay. Or actually, it would be, depending on what, you know, you'll have 4 down linemen.
Okay? That's what I was going to say. It's just a matter of whose hands on the ground.
Right. And so you can do that. And so people, you know, a lot of people are, well, he's from a 4-3. He plays at 4-3-4 and this and that. But like, dude, like you can. And first of all, you're never hardly in base anyway, because the 3 and 4 5 wide receivers, you're hardly in base anyway. That's for starters. So you can manipulate the amount of people you'd have, and you know, I'm not worried about the 3-4 4-3. I'm worried about getting a plugger in there who not only does he plug the middle, but he collapses the middle. Is Eddie Goldman. So you get a guy who collapses it from the side like Akeem Hicks. You get a guy who collapses it from the middle like Eddie Goldman. And then you got a guy coming off the corner like a Khalil Mack and a Robert Quinn. You know, and we'll get back. And it's unfortunate for him. It was a contract year. Roy Robertson Harris, his shoulder. It was his shoulder or pec? No, shoulder. I think it was. So he'll be back again next year. But there are some like Waters. I was impressed with him, with the stuff he's doing. Mario Edwards, impressed with the stuff he's doing. You just need that middle, because if you don't have that middle, man, if you don't have the strength and the stoutness up the middle, you're screwed. And that's where we see the Bears are. You know, they're screwed.
And let's not forget, Hicks got hurt in that last game too.
Yeah, he did.
You know, we hope he'll be able to play on. I'm not looking forward to this game against Green Bay. And my neighbors are looking forward to it. They just waiting to say stuff to me. And I don't have no comeback. I have no comeback for Sunday.
You know what? Here's what you tell them. You just say, you know what? Go back. Is that your wife or your cousin? My daddy said I'm the best kisser in the family. That's all you can say to those guys because they've been whooping our ass for years, and it's not a fun, not a fun thing at all. So Ryan Pace is starting to feel the heat, and he should. Do you want him gone as well, or do you want 2 for 1?
He's the architect of this whole thing. He's well, here's the thing. We said it. Well, we didn't because we didn't have a show there. But when he drafted Trubisky, everybody said because of the way he drafted him to move up to do that, everybody said that's one of those career-defining moments where you're saying, this is my guy. I'm going to live and die with him. When you trade away a bunch of first-round picks to bring in Khalil Mack, you're making that move because you say, this is the guy I need as my final piece to get me over the hump. At this point, neither one of those moves have worked out. While Khalil Mack has played his butt off and he's been great, he wasn't the final piece that this team needed. This team needed a whole bunch of more pieces, as we're now seeing. So that move was a bad move. And guess what? The guy who he traded with, that dude who coaches the Raiders, look what his team is doing. And at that first year, we were all like, how could you trade Khalil Mack? Thank you, Gruden. We appreciate it. Well, he turned that trade into a whole lot of first-round draft picks. He filled in a whole lot of pieces. And now the Raiders are looking pretty doggone good.
Yeah, despite the loss yesterday, they are.
Right. You had mentioned architect, Jason. I was trying to think of like what architect would I compare Ryan Pace to, and all I could think of is Costanza. That's all I could think about, George Costanza. He can't build anything. He hasn't tried to build the offensive line. Like you said, he made mistakes going after a quarterback who hadn't proven himself. And then you went ahead and you pretty much said, "Oh, we're good. This is it right here. This is the team that's going to win the Super Bowl." When everybody else is like, "Really? Like, are you going to make any more moves? Are you going to add some depth to certain places? Are you going to add quality players to other places?" And he just never has done that.
Nope. He was like, we're good. The Khalil Mack move was supposed to be the move to put him over the top. And don't get me wrong, Raquan Smith has, developed this year.
He's the only one.
The only
draft pick.
But
Jason.
that's it. Yeah.
He's the only draft pick. He's the only first-round draft pick that wasn't a bust. You look at Kevin White, then you had Leonard Floyd, then you had Mitch Trubisky.
Yep.
Okay.
I agree.
And then you had to pay big time for all those mistakes. You had to go get the Allen Robinson. You had to go get the Robert Quinn. You had to go get the Nick Foles to cover up for your mistakes. And let's not forget about reaching for Adam Shaheen in the second round and wasting that pick instead of picking him in the 7th where he still would have been there. So those are the things that really you're right, that stand out. Because if he didn't, if he had hit on those picks with the Kevin White, the Leonard Floyd and the Mitch pick, like this is a whole nother conversation. This is not even the realm of the remote possibility of a conversation that we're having. You get Deshaun Watson, you get Patrick Mahomes over there. You had a number 1 wide receiver. Okay, you got another pass rusher, and you still draft Roquan Smith if you're even that high anymore. You know what I mean? We might not even have to draft or be in a position to draft Roquan Smith because the situation in our season would have been different. So I don't know. I do think it's time for Ryan Pace to go. It's unfortunate, but he's made too many mistakes in key spots, and it's time to go. It's time to go.
Accountability. I know that's the thing, big word you use all the time about holding the players accountable. Well, the ownership has also got to hire their own management accountable.
Yeah, they do.
It starts with the ownership, and then you got to get rid of that GM. You got to get rid of that head coach, man. It's the same position the Bulls were in. We see that they have the talent, but they're not getting the coaching and the support that they need. And
now they got the middle management. They got the director of basketball personnel. They got the general manager. They got and that just filtered. And then the head coach filters from there. It's a whole different world when you're looking at that from the lakefront over to the west side. It's pretty crazy. Yep. Hey guys, 3 hours has come and gone. Holy sheesh, it's been a phenomenal Art Vandalay. So dude. Hey, I want to thank my guest Joseph Phillips. He comes on every day from 9 to 10. I want to thank Kenneth Davis for coming on from 10 to 11. I want to thank my guy Jason Palmer for sitting in the anchor leg from 11 to 12. We want to thank our guest Frank Schwab, the Schwaba from Yahoo Sports, calling in, talking NFL football with us. Great stuff. That was a great one. If you haven't seen it, make sure you go back and check this out. Check it out. It's an hour. It's at the 10 o'clock hour. Great interview with Frank Schwab. Shout out to Elliot Baez, our technical director, Clarence Council, our social media director, my co-host at Absentia, Maya Kai. Everybody together, we all put together, made it a great show. So for my lovely guests, Jason Palmer, and my Puerto Rican Swiss Army knife himself, Ivan Vargas.
We will see you guys on Wednesday. I hope I am feeling a lot better.
I'm your boy, the Superback, Shawn Sierra. Jason, tell him again real quick what time you on tonight and who you got.
6 o'clock tonight. 6 o'clock tonight. At 6:30, we got NBA referee Mark Davis. 7 o'clock. Chris Collins, head coach of Northwestern University men's team. And at 7:30, Kendrick Prince, as we talk fighting Illini basketball at 7:30.
And that's Central Time, 6 o'clock Central Time for all, because we got people all over the country. So
we do.
We will see you tonight on the What's Up Cuz show, and we're going to take a 45-hour break for Shawn and Maya. See you back on Wednesday. Deuces, we out.